I didn't want to tell you this, guys, but
Biased.
Fnatic have picked up a new member, and it's me.
Biased, yeah.
And it's me. I'm going to tell you. I mean, I've been in talks with Reckless to be his new support for a while, and yeah, it turns out that no, I'm joking.
I don't mean to bring sadness to you, Xcander, and all the other Fnatic fans, but Reckless is no longer in Fnatic.
Oh God! Oh, God, yeah. Sorry, it's been so long. G2, yeah, damn. Now I'm sad.
That is
anyway, let's say thank you
Sad
to...
reacts only.
Yeah, okay, sad boys only. Anyway, thanks to Telia, MasterCard, and El Gigante for sponsoring the NLC. Of course, we are heading into our final day of our relegation tournament and the final day of this NLC split in total. So you get one more day to spend with myself, Trouble and Gulborg, and those two absolute giga randoms that are casting the games as well. Let's take a look at where we are then. Let's take a look at the bracket and see exactly which game we're bringing to you today, which will be the BIFROST versus Dusty matchup, the best of 5 to determine who gets through to the NLC. Galaxy have already qualified. We've already lost M&M, and it means that now BIFROST and Dusty will duke it out over the course of this series for that final remaining spot. It is a winner takes all a situation. There is nothing for the loser other than pure sadness. Okay. Guys, I believe I don't know if we've got any highlights from yesterday. Of course, that was a bit of a crazy game between Dusty and M&M, but Dusty really, I feel, came out on top in terms of just the way they performed. I know they came on top in the series, but just the way they performed in general, they looked like the better team regardless.
Yeah, and I think we saw a new style of Dusty yesterday as well, where they were actually capable of playing through their top side. Throughout the season, we've been saying, oh no, not Flagshi's on the strong dart side. This always goes wrong, but yesterday he was actually able to pull it off quite confidently. And I gotta say, that's going to be a matchup to watch today. Kez versus Flagshi's is for sure going to be interesting.
I'm not sure what perspective is going to be interesting in, because it feels like that side of the map is the weakest side of the map for both of these teams. And yes, even though Dusty looked much more dominant, I felt like it came from making sure that the top lane is comfortable in whatever matchup he wants to be in, and then snowballing other lanes, babysitting the top side of the map. And I feel like BIFROST sort of have to do the exact same thing. To me here, the key will be whichever top lane feeds the least wins the game.
And that's what's making it kind of interesting, because I think it's going to be... it's not going to be the best League of Legends we're probably going to be watching today.
What do you mean? That's the best League of Legends, Gulborg.
But it's going to be very entertaining League of Legends, nonetheless.
Very entertaining, yes.
Yes. BIFROST, a team that's been very fond of just running it down and just skill check their opponents every time they can. Even Dusty fell for that when they played against Galaxy Racer. So I think it's going to be interesting to see again. Is Dusty just going to follow the pace of the game that BIFROST is going to set if they just create skill checks all around? Or are they going to be smart about the game? That's going to be interesting as well.
And I think Dusty in this series here just absolutely... Flagshi's had a pretty good series, I think, overall as well. From the jungle, played incredibly well. Dusty looked like they are back in form, which is kind of what we were hoping to see from them through the regular split. Legions, you could see, like, in his interview, feeling confident, and I think the team as a whole feeling pretty good coming into today. Should we take a look at when, we only have one game left. I don't know why I bring this up, but why not? We only have one game left. It's starting in about 13 minutes time, and it is the last series of our split. Just want to reiterate that, guys. After this, we're gone until summer. Well, you might see some of us on the European Masters, but most of us are gone until summer. And the NLC will be back, though, obviously, in that summer period, but this is the last series of our entire spring split. And again, it is just to purely determine who will be making it back into our overall NLC talent pool coming into the following split. And I kind of want to talk about you guys and what you guys think about this matchup. Obviously, I can bring up the predictions and show people what people have gone for. I do believe the majority of us picked out Dusty here between a 3-0 and 3-1s. And I actually want to coin a sort of flip side question. Why has BIFROST lost so much confidence? Because I think a lot of people were hyping up BIFROST coming out as the Telia Masters winners. They beat Galaxy Racer. Why have they lost so much confidence, especially coming into this matchup versus Dusty?
Honestly, at some point, Ox, yes, they said, you know what, I'm just going to go for Dusty in the previous best of 3. And he's like, I'm just going to be confident about it. I'm going to go for that 3-1. They're going to stomp. And we were game number 4. I look up on the scoreboard, and it's 3-1 for Dusty. And I'm like, yes, this is meant to be. That was a big 5-head prediction. I believe in Dusty. I'm on the Dusty hype train right now. And in all honesty, Bifrost doesn't seem to get their early game together, man. Like, I feel like this is what's gonna make or break someone's game. That early game needs to be on point. And for Bifrost, it just seems to be extremely difficult. Yes, late game they make these crazy plays. Their ADC might pop off, their mid lane might pop off. But if you let the early games get snowballed by Dusty are not gonna let go, because this is what they need the most. That snowball early to close it out in the mid.
And to kind of answer your question, I kind of want to compare Bifrost to Granite Gaming. So when Telia happens, you're just playing best of threes 4 days in a row. And that's going to make it really hard to prep. So when you do that, you don't get to fully actually take on your team, get the scouting done and everything like that. So you just go pick and ban, pick and ban, pick and ban. And even going towards the finals, when Galaxy Racer played against Bifrost, they're like, oh, we kind of underestimated them in draft and everything like this. But once Galaxy Racer found out how Bifrost plays, it started to become kind of easier also in draft, but also in the Rift as well. And I think that's kind of what we've seen here now. It's not necessarily that Bifrost has stopped being at the level they were from Telia Masters, but I think more teams are coming on to the playstyle that Bifrost actually have now, and they're finding it easier now to counterplay them, where before it was easier to Bifrost to come out just guns blazing with the skill check and people not knowing what to do about it.
If Bifrost are going to find an avenue for success here, where do you think that has to come from? I know both of you have highlighted that top lane matchup being relatively pivotal, but I'd like to hear where you think that the actual win condition can come from Bifrost.
It has to be jungle and bot. I feel like mid, they don't necessarily seem to be using their mid priority a lot. It's usually their jungles and bot lanes that will pop off. I feel like it's the same thing for Dusty. When Hoyes is having a good game, it's a 1v9 together with Chelm. And on the other side, we've seen what Tide can do on a Fed ADC, just dashing in with the Zayat, further storm into Flash and killing everyone when he's all alone versus 5 opponents. So I think it's going to be a better bot win scenario right here, whilst making sure that your tops of the map is just not dying.
And I would kind of say that Legion's mentioned in the interview yesterday that the mid jungle was probably the strongest he saw coming in from Bifrost. And I actually think from Bifrost, Never Lucky has been the player together with Tide that's impressed me the most. I think Never Lucky has been the most consistent, but Tide has had better pop-off performances when they happen, but also lower lows. So I think it's going to be very much about the early game, who can get that small lead going into the mid game, because we've already seen both teams struggle to play when they're from behind. This is very snowbally matchups.
Yeah, and you mentioned Never Lucky as well. That is something that Legion said, like, we have to work on our mid-jungle duo because, you know, they probably had, that's probably the strongest part of their team in their eyes anyway, obviously what they thought being the case. But Never Lucky's champion pool is something that is, that's initially what caught Galaxy Racer off guard, like his champion pool that he had. Do you think that's something that may cause issues here for Dusty?
It's not necessarily a problem because, yes, the champion pool is impressive in numbers, but I wasn't personally impressed with every single performance on that variety that he brings into the table. So yes, he might be able to bring literally the entirety of the champions that are now available, but I don't think that the caliber of skill level on each and every one of them when he shows them is the exact same. So yes, you can pinpoint him down, but yes, it also hasn't been 100% up there on every single one.
Yeah, I would say that. I think the talent was relatively, I guess, impressive, but also there was the Karthus on the same side that did the same thing. I think there was the Karthus talent game where they were just kind of like running around the map killing everybody. But irrespective, like, I think this is something that obviously Legions is looking towards. He's definitely looking towards that matchup against Never Lucky to make sure that he's in control of it with that mid-jungle duo. Now, we are very close to our first series of the day. As I said, it starts at 6 p.m. CET. We are about 7 minutes away from that. So we're going to go to a quick break. When we're back, Champion Select is on the way.
Sunsets, high rise, you know you're on the floor, diamonds, good life, walking the golden door. Everybody knows that you want it more, more. Ice cold to the touch, we're gonna burn it down, bodies so hot until we hit the ground. Everybody knows that you want it more, more. It's not my fault.
Welcome, everybody. Unfortunately, I was dropped from the Fnatic roster already, so I am now back in normal clothing. It just is what it is. The life of a pro esports player like myself, it can be quite tough. Anyway, we are heading into our first game in the series. Goodbull looks thoroughly unimpressed. Look at him. Look at his little unimpressed face. It is BIFROST versus.
Why am I
Dusty.
always being commented on my looks? You make me extremely insecure.
No, that's not, you just looked unimpressed with me. That's all. You just,
All right.
you like this. You're like.
Okay, Goldbuck,
I don't know what to do with myself.
Goldbuck,
I
you
don't
know
know what to do
what?
with
You're looking
myself.
great today, mate.
He does.
Yeah, you know
look
what?
great.
Probably
He does look
YouTube, and
great.
even you, Excounter, you're hot. All right, so let's get into this draft because that kind of is spicy as well. Now, picks I want to see banned if you cannot play it. All right, well, any guesses?
Carthus, me.
Oh my
Carthus,
God,
Carthus,
brilliant! I love
Yes.
it. I love it.
Thank you.
And so if you knew it, new viewers who might just be tuning in are like, why are you asking them to ban Carters? But Carters in our relegation series against teams who are not used to play against Carters are just diving, they're just taking bad teams fight. And when they get out with 20% HP, they think they're fine. They're not fine. That's a triple kill for Carters right there. And therefore it's been an issue. But let's move on and let's see what's gonna happen.
All right, so a second one that I would like to see absolutely banned is the Nocturne as well. Pairs up really well with the Carthus if it's open, but it's also extremely strong on its own because it's a flex towards mid and jungle as well. You can choose to put him wherever you want on the map. It's a big priority in the mid lane, pushes waves really easily against mages, and his other picture.
It's also been perma banned against Neverlucky, Echo, Nocturne, and a third champion I forgot about. Has been
Yone?
perma banned. Yes, exactly. Great trouble. All right. Has been banned against Neverlucky.
My
So
God, getting an A+.
yeah, of course. But when you have a red side that's banning out those champions,
Uh-oh.
that's obviously going to leave open a lot of power picks.
Get
so
ready,
now
guys.
now you're in that kind of predicament where you go like, do we ban the Yone or do we go for the Carters? Do we have an answer into the Carters? Are we feeling confident playing into Carters? Because you could be. Like, as we said, Carters is a fine champion to let through. But the problem is that it's just very hard for these teams to play against. And when you leave Yone up as well, I'm just thinking you first pick Carthus and you go for the Yone, and then you have AP, AD composition going for you right then and there. But let's see what else they're going to go for. Udyr is something we saw Tano have success on as well. Rel is also a champion that we have seen teams prioritize. So therefore, those could be the picks coming in as well.
I'm really surprised actually they didn't go for the Carthus because on their series versus Galaxy Racer, they picked the Carthus twice in a row. So definitely Tano wants to go towards that direction. But yet again, they feel like the Rel might be more of a priority for them. I like this because at least you ensure that Tad will have a strong support to play around. We've seen him being great with the Zarya. They're also the likes of Jinx and Caitlyn are still in there to hyper carry if you want to. And on the other side, we see that not even Dusty want to play towards the Carthus. They want to go with something more viable when it comes to ganking, when it comes to the early game, when it comes to being more mobile on the map. And I do really like that because when you have such an active lane such as Caitlyn, you do need an active jungler to back this up. Of course.
Yeah, I mean,
Of course.
I think realistically they don't mind taking the Rel first, right? Because they're just saying to Dusty, do you want to take Carthus? Like Carthus is a jungler that is relatively specific.
There
you have
we
to have
go.
a certain champion pool, and they say, okay, they threw the challenge down. They were like, do you want Carthus? Because if you don't, we're just going to take it. And yeah, they go for the Carthus Yone, and that is a very, very classic Bifrost mid-jungle duo. If you were looking to get on top of the mid-jungle duo as Dusty, you've given yourself the largest hurdle to cross in the very first game.
And it's not like I'm looking at the first two picks from Dusty and going on like, wow, those are really two bad first picks. It's not like that at all.
No.
But it's just, we know the comfort that Bifrost has on those three champions they've already picked, and therefore they're looking scary. Now, I believe that Renekton being picked into this one is a flex pick that can go into the mid lane against the Yone. You already have Lilia as an AP damage dealer in the jungle, so it wouldn't surprise me. It's something we've seen LPL do a lot, and I mean a lot. You see a lot of Renekton mid in the LPL, and just something we really haven't caught up on the EU yet.
I would like to see actually Renekton go to the top side because Flaxis has been struggling on his matchups, and Renekton is a champion that doesn't necessarily lose matchups very easily, so he should be extremely strong. I'd like to see a mage in the mid lane for Dusty, just to get Legions to give as much priority as possible so that Chilm can roam top if he wants to. The AD AP scenario with the Renekton is going to be really strong into whatever Bifrost choose to pick, except if that's a Sion, then it's a no-go. And then the bot side needs to be strong as well with something like a Karma, a Lux. Now, they're both open and available for them. So that would also be if something like a Lux or a Karma gets locked in here, they're also flex. We don't necessarily see Lux in the mid lane, but we do see Karma, and it does bring priority.
So I think you can go with the Malphite here if you want to as a 4th pick, just because BIFROST actually banned Silas out themselves. Yeah, they could go for now on the other side, but you're still probably going to be fine. But they actually decide to go with the support matchup here, and it is going to be Alistar into the Relegation, a matchup we've seen loads of time already. But that could leave Malphite open now from the side of BIFROST. It's going to be perfectly fine going into their damage composition, because if they go with an AD mid laner, then you have a lot of value in the Malphite pick. And if they do not go for one, well, it's still fine. You have great backline engage in the Malphite and a decent frontliner, which you need on the team you have right now.
Yeah, they also have the blind pick now available, which is obviously something that we've seen a lot of teams, especially in the relegation tournament. It has fallen down in priority level compared to our top teams. But
The Seraphine too.
Yeah, Seraphine completely untouched. Malphite is the choice though, Gulbo. You are completely correct. And now it's up for Dusty to decide what they want to do on the top side of the map or the mid side of the map. You know, obviously we have that Relegation that can flex between those roles, and we will see where Dusty choose to go. I do think going a little bit AD heavy into Malphite may be an issue though, especially if the game gets anywhere close towards 25-30 minutes into. This would be a good pick. I
I was
like
about
this.
to say, a Syndra or an Orianna there would make a lot of sense.
It's
But
tough.
Flaxis played a lot of Vladimir last season as well, and he does favor these types of champions, and it's extremely strong. Whether you want to put it into the Malphite or you want to put it into the Yone, it does matter pretty well. So you can choose to pick the strongest champion for your laner, and then you swap them around the map depending on where the Yone lands, depending on where the Malphite lands. And the thing with Vladimir also is that it brings a lot of room in front of your Caitlyn. So once you put the pool down, no one can move forward, no one can reach your ADC.
I like this because Neverlucky has played Malphite mid before, so you need to swap before 20 seconds. So if the swap... Alright, no swap. That could be mind games, like when you have 4 flex picks, essentially, and you need to know where they go. You could be waiting at last second and be like, alright, now we swap, and then the enemy wouldn't have time to actually counter swap. So,
Flax mid then. Flax just goes mid with Vladimir. Let's go, and then we just put Legions top with the with the Renekton.
There's a lot of possibilities, but as Trouble said as well, like it's not like you mine the Yone into Vladimir matchup as Vladimir either. You're still going to be very safe with your pool. You're probably going to be running Phase Rush as well, and you are running a range into a melee. So both lanes essentially are fine. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to play around the Karthus in the early game, because he is a champion that requires a lot of priority in lanes.
I also like the Vladimir into Karthus as well, because you just basically have a free Zhonya's all the way through the game to make sure you're not getting any damage from the ultimate. So we'll see. Let's see how it goes. It might be the pick that unlocks this game and kind of deals with the Karthus, which no other team in the relegation series has managed to do so far. As I said, we've got 2 absolute Giga Randoms casting, and both of those Giga Randoms come in the form of Hit Brain. We're obviously joined by the ever knowledgeable and lovely Orcs too.
I think that throw would have been really good if he wasn't just lagging out the whole time. So, you know.
What I liked is that I felt like he was flaming me, and I was feeling pretty bad about it. And then he turned around and he only flamed you. So now I feel great.
Yeah, well, you know, he's a word I can't say on air. Hello and welcome to the Carter Desk. Apparently, I'm a Giga Random. I'm joined by someone who's very knowledgeable.
Apparently.
Apparently. I mean,
Yeah.
don't know, man. Anyway, we're getting ready to go into the game. Our first game of this series.
That is true.
The thing is, right, you sell yourself as this big brain, really hyper intelligent guy, and you do a great job of selling it until we sit in the green room and then you just sing. And it's like a Buzz Lightyear meme where it says there's no sign of intelligent life anywhere, because that's the kind of person you really are.
What's wrong with singing?
It's nothing wrong with singing.
All right,
it's
all
wrong
right,
with
all
how
right,
you
Jake,
sing.
Jake. I'm gonna take you back a long time ago to yesterday. Who did you predict?
Eminem,
Who did I predict?
Dusty.
Let's move on.
Yeah, but I was voting with my heart. You were just voting to be edgy.
I was voting to be correct, actually, Jake. So
You even admitted it. You even admitted it was a coin
Admitted
flip
what?
for you.
admitted what?
But it was a coin flip for you.
When was that? When did I admit that? Do you have evidence? Do you have proof? I don't think so. Look, I had faith in Dusty. Dusty went out. I still have faith in Dusty. And you guys have all followed. And it's understandable. But
It's
question
Legions.
is, will they
It's
look fine in
Legion's
this
flexing,
game?
man. That's what sold me on Dusty.
Yep. Honestly. What a guy.
What a guy. Anyway, we're on to the Rift. We're into the action as both of these junglers are starting up on their red side. Chelm doing his chicken camps, pretty much standing.
Look at them! Look at them
Really.
waiting. By the way, can we just go to mid lane? Legions and Flagships were waiting together in the brush, trying to work out where Bifrost are going, and they got it right. You know, they didn't actually get to see them until they walked in the lane, but they get the Renekton into Yone matchup, which is actually even more punishing in the top lane because it's such a long lane. So the Yone doesn't have escapes, gets put in a really difficult position if you're overextended, and in the mid lane, Vladimir into Malphite is so chill from Vladimir. Normally, the early pressure from mages can be a bit problematic for Vladimir in the mid lane. It's why we don't see him there anymore. Things like Syndra could just shove you in, harass you. Malphite can't do that. So Flaxius gets a free lane. He can actually shove if he wants to, and there's no real pressure from a Karthus Malphite. He's never really going to die to that unless he makes a big mistake.
Yeah, you could already see the CS deficit growing in both the lanes, solo lanes for Dusty right now. Obviously, the waves are crashing into Kez, so he will catch most of this, but even so, early pressure starting to bite him a little bit.
And the thing is, so we have these two great lanes on the top side, and then we can look at bot lane, where we have Alistar into Rel, which is a matchup we've seen time and time again as a decent answer to Rel. But then we have Caitlyn into Ezreal, and that is super favorable for the Caitlyn in the early laning phase. You can see, typically when we have an Alistar, you don't win that level 1 push, just because you really can't interact well. But in this situation, the Caitlyn is able to find it, can get a reset, get a cull. So essentially, Dusty have 3 winning lanes here with a power farming jungler. So they're in a really positive spot already in this game.
And you can see that this is just, they're playing for the laning phase. Hoyes has gone straight into a cull on that cheetah recall, wanting to get that injection of gold when he has that fully stacked up. They are just chilling right now, Dusty. The Legions is going to jump into Keys, just gets himself a nice little trade-off.
Yeah, and our observer has just informed me, after checking, Yone has no armor runes, and Malphite has no MR runes. Malphite right now has 67 armor with his shield up, 31 MR, so they didn't want to be in this matchup. This is worst case scenario. It's not just like you're in a bad matchup, you also don't have the defensive runes. So it's even worse right now for Bifrost, about as bad as it can get.
Yeah, that is... How do they get out of that? They need to try and swap and kind of catch Dusty off on a swap. It's like the only way this gets slightly better for them. As do have ourselves a light pause. We did see that Tanu was in the bot lane helping shove the wave in. Just a quick amount of a quick lag spike, so it won't be too long until they get sorted. Typically, these things are fairly quick.
Did see Pedersen having burnt the flash there? Now, I'm not sure, because obviously you didn't get to see, whether that was a scenario where Pedersen flashed in, because Ty did heal. But I think, based on what I saw, Tanu turned up, Pedersen had to flash out after doing a combo, and now you can see Tanu just helping them shove it in, help them crush the wave. Yeah, so I think it's a little bit of a rough spot here for Bifrost in the early laning phase. That's not to say the game is doomed. Yone scales extremely well, Malphite scales extremely well. Ezreal's going to spike hard in the mid game and still be relevant later on, and then the Karthus can still be powerful, but they are on the back foot very much, and it's really about mitigating the bleeding at this point. You know, Yone and Malphite can just sort of weather the storm in these lanes, but the problem is if Chilm starts interacting. If Chilm turns up top and Yone's underneath the tower, he's not going to be in a good way. So,
Yeah.
you know, realistically, it's playing the defensive game and waiting for a better time.
Well, as we're actually getting out of this pause, the issue has apparently been resolved. Chilm is currently doing his second crab, was able to get a double crab over Tanu, and is on the top side of the map. Renekton shoving the lane into Keys. This could be a little dicey in the top lane. Already used the Soul Unbound by Keys, but for now it just looks like Chilm going for a power farm right now.
Yeah, and the Soul Unbound is so useless against Renekton because you can only realistically go in with it, and if you go into the Renekton, he is just going to beat you up. No way to escape with it because obviously you get yanked back, so pretty rough. And you can see, you know, Neverlucky actually went up to Flaxius there, got a pretty nice trade, but the problem is he burned half his mana pool, and Flaxius is already sustaining it back up, so this is the issue. You just don't really have the kill pressure on the Vladimir. If Vladimir messes up massively, you can kill him at level 6 with your ultimate, but he really needs to be misplayed and let that happen, because realistically, you should always have the pool to answer.
Yeah, this is the power. When you get that empowered transfusion as well, just so much damage and so much healing. You can see Flaxish standing up lovely right now. Takes a little bit of poke, but we'll just heal back up. But Dustin just hex flashing in the bush. You never know.
Yeah, and now Neverlucky's in a pretty awkward spot because you walk up for the minion, you get transfused, it's getting harassed under. Probably going to go for the reset and TP back in. Level 6 is where, you know, things are marginally better because Vladimir actually has to pay some respect to you. Like, even if it's just a small amount, you still have to be cautious about getting ulted on. But when Flax just starts to ramp up about that level 9 point, when you've maxed Transfusion, level 10, you get the CDR from Transfusion, from Transcendence. That's where, you know, Malphite's really going to struggle. And this lane doesn't get better. That's the thing. At least in the top lane matchup, you can see Yone start to handle things a bit better. But in the mid lane, Malphite just starts to struggle more and more. But, you know, as you said, they have switched over with those teleports to find the better lane matchups.
Yeah, but if Dusty want to reset, both of their solo items have teleports, so they could just force this back in. As the Dragon's going to get picked up, the Slice and Dice is going to connect, and Legions is just dead here. Trying to sustain up, but the late waste, Tanu able to secure the kill. That is going to be over to Neverlucky to find the kill.
Yeah, a little bit greedy there from Legions. You just need to flash the ult. No hesitation. You see the Malphite ult coming in, you've got to flash it. He was put in a bit of a precarious position, hadn't hit his level 6 yet, while Malphite had his. And unfortunately going down there a bit rough. It gives a little bit of reprieve towards that Malphite who had been struggling in the mid lane.
Yeah, it does look like Neverlucky is now walking up towards this mid lane as the teleport by Flaxish went top lane to catch that wave. And that does mean that Bifrost will be able to hold the lanes in the lanes they want, at least, for a bit. Neverlucky with that kill. Now finished up a Doran's Ring and a Ruby Crystal and a Dark Seal. So, kind of all investing in the laning phase right now as Legions are going for a bit of a scrap. And Legions actually coming out really poorly from that one.
There's just too much armor on the Malphite, honestly, right now for the Nectar really to cut through effectively. So Legion's not having fun in this lane, but Flaxius has priority top. We could see another swap, honestly. It just feels like this is going to be a little bit of cat and mouse between these laners. And actually, will hold on for long enough. I was actually thinking that if he came back a little bit too soon, Flaxius could have killed him there. Even so, this is a precarious position to be in. There is threat of a dive, especially after that transfusion. And you can see Pedersen's already moving up, looking to go for it. We do have Rel and Karthus shadowing.
Yeah, Pedersen will find Bruland. There's a blast cone for him to get over that wall, though. It's just going to jump in. They've got the ulti on Flaxish. It's Bruland just looking to jump away. I think that might just give Dusty all the time they need to start up this Rift Herald. Meanwhile, Tide in the bottom lane. Not going to swap over with Steam, just looking to power farm up and shove a rather large wave, actually, into Dusty's tower. And it's actually Legions who's making his way down to catch this wave, so it's not completely lost into the ether, but bit of solo time for Tide. He's got a level lead over Hoyes now.
But I like the move from Dusty, moving the bot lane up to the top side, having that strength there for the Herald, and then they can rotate the mid. They need to be a bit careful about engage here. Malphite does have the ultimate, you need to flash this.
Yeah, Hoyes is trying to put some distance. Great flashback by him. Pedersen's been caught out. The Ignite is used, the Flash is used responsibly. Hoyes also using his heal to keep his support alive through that.
I mean, well played by Hoyes. Flashed away to the Malphite ult, but unfortunately was a bit overextended forcing that, and one of those things is going to come up in about a minute and a bit, and the other one's going to be gone for 5 minutes. So obviously that's the punish potential from this Malphite, especially that second dragon in 2 minutes. That's somewhere they can look to just blow this Caitlyn up. But now Legion's holding up against the Ezreal bot lane, but really has not been having a good time on this Renekton. Other than that early laning phase, getting killed by the Malphite and now just ended up in a 1v2 isn't a fun time.
Yeah, Legions have had a bit of a rough one, but he's okay for the moment. He is just going to catch this wave and then make his way back towards the mid lane. Flaxish still in the top lane versus Keys. Not particularly exactly how he wants it. Keys is getting good trades into him, although almost level 9, so almost maxed out that transfusion. About 2/3 of the way to level 9, so that should be coming in probably this wave or just on the first couple of minions from the next wave. Nope, hits it there.
Yep. 9, you have your transfusion max, so that cooldown's minimized. 10, you get the extra ability haste from Transcendence, which you'll be taking in your runes. So really big spikes coming in for the Vladimir, and it just makes it very difficult for Keys really to match up. You kind of need some more lifesteal on the UNA before you can do much. unless you catch him off guard and you manage to burst through him. But realistically, I don't expect Flashes to get caught out by that. Very experienced on Vladimir and a lot of tools to outplay Yone with.
Boys picks up a solo plate in the bot lane as well. Dragon was picked up by Dusty. Rift-tailed was picked up by Dusty. And we got 35 seconds until the second dragon spawns up as well. Chelm for the moment just clearing away a couple of these camps. And then I actually kind of expect to see him shove it down in the mid lane, get that priority, get the charge down, then turn that into the dragon. Or could look to try and pick up first turret blood in the bot lane. Poise has already been able to chip two plates off. So it is a little bit more exposed.
What I'd actually like to see here is I'd actually like to see Dusty make a play around top side. Chilm moves up top. Throws down the Herald. Just saying, this looks like, yeah, BIFROST shoving that in. So I think the play should not be to fight here. I think Chilm should go top. They should push up in the tower, take the tower, give the gold to Flashes and set up well. The problem with you fighting this is that Malphite is super threatening and Hoyes has no flash. So your AD carry is just dead. Like, almost guaranteed at this point. I don't think you should look for the 5v5. They're instead opting to go for that mid lane Herald. It seems like they do want to fight the dragon.
But they can't kill it in time. It's a cannon wave, so they actually can't shove the wave out in time. Chilm does have that lilting lullaby. Not going to fire it off quite yet as Rift-tail's going to move into position. And that was a complete fumble of a Rift-tail from Dusty. They didn't have the range to be able to kill that Rift-tail, that cannon minion safely. And the Rift-tail got stuck in front of the tower and didn't get the charge off. So it's just a wasted objective from them.
Eyes on never lucky here. The impact of the Malphite ult cannot be understated. You see Flax is hard one in this top lane match, but again, this is my question. Could you not just put the Herald here and just absolutely decimated BIFROST top side of the map? Kind of feels like Dusty aren't willing to let go of the dragon right now. I feel like they might be forced in that direction. You can't face check in here. You don't have the vision control. And they are just going to give up. So yeah, end result is the same. They don't get the dragon. They apply pressure top, but it would have been so much better if Chilm just moved up and threw down that Herald.
Yeah, they literally, Dusty gained nothing for that. They gained absolutely nothing.
And it would have been first tower.
Yep.
It would have been first tower, tons of plates to Flashes. So I think that's a pretty big mistake. They're still in a comfortable spot. You know, it's one dragon apiece, and they are slightly up in gold. And Flashes is looking to become monstrous in this game. But again, you know, I expected a bit more there.
This is some of the decision making that, you know, has caused a few questions about Dusty. They are, like you said, still though, you know, they are still up. They've got Vladimir, who's basically getting a free laning phase. Batit level 11, so 2 points into that Hemoplague. Closing in on the what I believe to be his Protobelt, I assume. I don't think you go Night Harvester on Vladimir. So closing in on that item.
I don't think you'd want Night Harvester here either. Plus, you wouldn't go at Pro Belts just really strong.
Yeah.
See the gold in front of us. Honestly, across the board, it's relatively even with little advantages here and there, apart from the top lane. Top lane is where there's that 1,000 gold leaf Flaxius. And he's the big problem potentially because Ezreal isn't too good into Vladimir as well. Pretty hard to consistently get that damage out to burst through him. At least crit 80 carries, there's windows to punish him, but Ezreal kind of struggles.
Now, there were a couple of plates picked up by BIFROST in the bottom lane. Hoy's already taken 2 plates off in the bot side as well. Has now forced them to reset, or at least Tide is going for reset. It's out of mana. And it does look like the attention is going to be put down onto this turret. No more plates to get picked up. The plates have now fallen off, but yeah. This could just be the tower. You got the headshots from the Caitlyn, so this tower will go down pretty quickly. And with Chilm and Pedersen standing in the wings, making sure Hoyes gets this solo gold, I assume. Yeah, they're going to give it to him solo. Means he's just uncontested on this one. There it is, first turret blood to Hoyes. The Caitlyn gets a big injection of gold. Cole's finished up as well. I should see how much gold Hoyes now has, because he's got to be pretty rich, yeah.
Yeah, pretty substantial lead just coming off the back of that. And, you know, there's still some concern how much impact is this Caitlyn going to be able to have in this game with so much threat onto her. But either way, distributing the gold, you got a fed Vladimir, you got a fed Caitlyn, puts you in a good spot. And now, see the Herald being started up by BIFROST. Dusty responding.
I think it's so hard this time around, though, because Flaxish is in the area. He's got lane priority. He's very, very strong. Level 11. Not something you really want to be fighting.
Yeah, and especially you want Dusty to be starting the Herald themselves, because it's easy with them clumped up around the Herald. If you're gonna fight them, you have the Malphite come in. You look for a multiple man ultimate. But I think at this point they're just not willing to go for it. Flaxis is too much of a threat, and so they're gonna give this one up. A good attempt with the steal,
close.
but yeah, two-shot barrage doesn't get it. And the big thing here is Dusty can't possibly do worse than they did with their first Herald. So can only go up from there.
But you can do as bad. So
True.
that's always something to keep in mind. Now, this turret is going to go down to Flaxish.
I would
I don't think
say though,
anyone's gonna be able to stop
just
that.
because like with the first Herald, they're missing out on plates. That's as worse as it gets, you know.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Like that's at least that would have been 2 plates. That'd have been a fair chunk of gold if they'd just, you know, done what they were supposed to.
Well, the tower goes down in the top lane. It does feel like if Herald's going to go anywhere, it's probably going to go mid lane. Take out this tier 1. Unless they really want to play full side lane and give Flaxis even more gold. He's going to go to base though and pick himself up the Proto Belt. Kraken Slayer on Hoys. Strikebreaker on Legions. Leandry's on Chelm. Over on the side of Bifrost, you've got the Shield Bow, Leandry's, Frostfire Gauntlet, and an Essence Reaver finished up for the side of Bifrost. So, as far as items go, both these teams are pretty close to each other. It's just this top lane with a couple extra component items, cooldown boots onto this Vladimir. There's not a lot of CDR, well, quite a lot of CDR already stacking up. And like you said, he has that Transcendence most likely, so even more.
Yeah, I mean, it's already a lot of ability haze coming in. For Flaxis, obviously a huge step for Vladimir. They are throwing down the Herald mid. It's 28 seconds on that Mountain Dragon, so just going to get the charge in, rotate over. And in this situation, this Dragon, Flash is available for everyone on Dusty, so the Malphite is significantly less of a threat. As long as you have vision of him, which, being that they're already setting up for Dragon, they should do, you should be able to flash that ultimate. You should be able to avoid getting one shot and then look to take the fight. Flash in the top side still waiting for the TP. You see pings coming out, the fight starting.
Yeah, Keys is looking to try and find himself a big fate steal. He gets trapped up and shot up over the wall, loses so much health. The ace in the hole will also proc the shield bow. Chelm slides in, gets the flash off, gets a 3-man lilting lullaby as the Requiem comes down. But the fight is just so favored by Dusty. A double kill for Flaxish. Keys is the only one standing, and he is taking down a triple kill to round it out on the Vladimir. And it's going to be an ace and a dragon.
I have never seen a more beautiful int come out from Chelm. Suicided completely to get the triple sleep. Vladimir with the follow-up. Really flawless and honestly selfless behavior from Chelm. Definitely not a KDA player. But the team fight execution just completely there for Dusty. They decimate Bifrost. And the biggest thing for me is take a look at that Malphite right now, Jake. You see what I'm seeing? I'm seeing an ultimate that wasn't used.
He just didn't get the chance. I mean, let's have a look at it again.
Yeah, so it's a bit messy at first. They want to jump on Legions, but Legions can kind of hold up here. Pedersen actually dives in and makes the Karthus lives a little difficult, but really, this is all Chelm. Goes over the Blast Cone, flashes in for the triple sleep and kill on the Karthus, dies for it, but then we get Flaxius getting the triple ult follow-up, and there's just no way he survived that. Those 3 members who got sleeped into the Vladimir ult just disappear off the map, and then it's easy cleanup from then. Beautiful coordination, beautiful team fighting coming out from Dusty.
That's a cosmic drive, Vladimir, but Keys is actually doing a lot of damage to him. The Hemoplacing at use gets in for the blood pool. A lot of healings. He protobelts forwards. It's so close. The Fog of War almost enough, but Flaxish able to find himself the kill.
I'm just gonna say it. Like I don't think that was ever gonna happen for you. Oh, Pedersen.
Tide. Oh, great Wall of Pain actually. Tide will eat a. I know you won't. Don't worry.
Yeah, I think that 1v1 looked close, but I feel like Flaxius wasn't really ever in that much danger. There just wasn't the damage to cut through him, and there's so much healing on this Vladimir. And even, you know, Keys did sort of buy some time with the Fog of War, but Flaxius just heals so much. Oh,
and Tanu is going to go down. Hoys finds himself the kill. Chelm needs to dodge away, but Tide just slips over the wall to find himself the kill. They're trying to find Hoys now. Hoy's still able to free fire away. There is still an ultimate available to that Malphite, but Hoys is doing so much work on this Caitlyn. Flaxish in the meanwhile shoving in the bot lane, and Bifrost can't force onto Dusty. They're going to be able to get away to safety, and Flaxish will take another tower.
Yeah, this is becoming problematic. No one can handle Flaxius in the side lane. You know, Yone was the better matchup, but he's now 3,000 gold behind, got solo killed there, and is now at diveable point. I think Flaxys can just kill him on a tower whenever he wants. Never lucky. No hope, really. 65 MR on this wild fight, you do not stand a chance. And as you said, before that play, Flaxys had the Cosmic Drive. Huge amount of movement speed coming out from that. Huge amount of ability haste. It's pretty crazy. I actually want to have a look at what his transfusion cooldown is right now. If the observer can just move over. Because I feel like it's going to be pretty insanely low. Yeah, 2.46. Not a lot of windows. Not a lot of windows to work with on that one.
And he's doing that, he's obviously Cosmic Drive doesn't give you movement speed on the proc anymore. It's just when you have a flat amount of AP. But he's got a bunch of movement speed, gets a couple of spells off into the phase rush, and he's so hard to pin down, and he's just sustaining while just kiting you around. It's actually so obnoxious fighting into a Vladimir like this.
Yeah, there's no real option. And the problem is, you know, sometimes you'd have a champion like Fiora, right? And you can't answer in the side lane, and so the solution is to group up and fight. This doesn't work with Vladimir because Vladimir is just as strong, if not even stronger, in the team fight. Like, if he comes in and he ult Qs Tai, he's dead. That's it. Over. So, BIFROST, very limited options here. They don't win in the side lanes. They don't win in the team fights. They need picks. They need someone to overstep. They need to find a miracle pick off on the likes of Chilm and somehow clean up on that. But they are not looking good right now.
They are struggling in game number one. They really are. It's not quite as one-sided as our game number one yesterday between Dusty and Eminem, the one game where Dusty lost. But they are looking to jump in, and oh, never lucky. That was unlucky. Misses the arc, fumbles it entirely. Hoy's going pretty low, though, so I think he will get followed up by Tanu. Tanu will lose his life, but does have that Requiem to throw down. He's going to bring it onto multiple members as Key's able to kite away, but already Dusty are just on top of this fight, and Key's caught out by the Hemo Plague. Flaxish goes golden. Tide is going to get popped and throws out a nice true shot onto multiple members, but he will fall down. 4 for 1 in favor of Dusty.
Just going to say, Jake, that was not it. That was not the play. Okay, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to flame him too hard. I'm assuming Never Lucky was trying to predict Hoy's flash. There's one big problem with that, though, Jake, is that Hoy's didn't have his flash. So I think there might have been a mistake with the timer, maybe the track of the summoners. That's the only reason I can theorize him going for the ult in that position. But either way, you miss the ult, Hoy survives, and they just get absolutely... Well, I mean, he doesn't survive completely, but he survives the initial ult. And it's an overcommit by BIFROST that gets punished massively. And now Dusty going to pick up the Baron, and that Vlad in the side lane is even more problematic now.
And Hoy's respawned, so all 5 members have it. As we can have a little look at this once again.
If you look, my thought process is you expected Hoy's to flash, because I think you would never go for like an ult in that position. You would go straight on him if you knew he didn't have flash. I'm assuming it's miscommunication. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But either way, you overcommit that hard for the Caitlyn, you lose 2 members for it. And even though there's this nice combo coming in, the damage just isn't there. They're able to withstand it. And even though Flaxys gets low, again, he has the Hemo Plague, he has the stopwatch, no real way that actually going to take him down, and he still is outputting so much damage. Tide tries the hero play, but these 4 are just too bulky.
Level 16. Flaxish has a 3-level lead over anyone on the side of BIFROST. 2 levels over anyone on his team.
And he's got a
3 points in his ulti, got the Medjais. He's just actually impossible to deal with at the moment.
The big thing is he doesn't have stopwatch. He does have flash now, so potentially if he plays his pool badly, maybe they can punish him, but it's a big if. And right now, Dusty are just pushing up through mid. BIFROST, they can buy a bit more time, they can let this go, but eventually Dusty are going to start cracking on your base, and you're going to have to answer. For now, though, Dusty will back away with that mid inhibitor. Looks like they are going to go for some resets, pick up the dragon. It's going to be Legions who answers the Yone in the top side.
Yeah, that's not a problem for them. Dragon's going to get started up. This is 1 off that Mountain Soul point for Dusty now. They don't even lose that turret, which Keys went to go deal with. As the True Shot Barrage just, you know, helping Dusty out, speed up this game. And Baron's still in the pocket for Dusty, so they can set up in these side lanes. BIFROST looking for a desperation death brush here, but Chelm will be able to spot them out of a swirl seed. He smells summoners up. And there's the sweeper, getting himself caught out already. So teleport's coming in, but the Vladimir flank is on. Tanu has been stunned up by the attract and repel as Pedersen jumps in, gets a 2-man headbutt pole, but there's just so much damage coming out from Flaxish as Hoyes gets a kill on the backline. Flaxish finds himself a double, and Flaxish slowed down momentarily, but is still pretty quick right now. They're not going to be able to find anything else. They do kill the jungle, but ultimately losing 3 members. Only Never Lucky, only Tide left to clear the waves. And these two not really got the most AoE wave clear. And Dusty, recognizing this, are going to crack into the base and look to take down these turrets.
Yeah, and that's just game there. It was the right sort of play. You look for the pick, but BIFROST unable to follow through. Engage comes in.
That's going to be the end of Tide. He is burning low, and the transfusion's enough. Bruland jumps in forwards. It's already another kill for the Vladimir. 8-0 and 3. Flaxish has had a phenomenal performance here. 26 minutes dead on, and Dusty take game number 1.
25 stack Medjais on the 8-0-3 Vladimir. Monstrous game from Flaxish. Goes back to one of his OG picks that he's super confident bringing out. Great matchup for him, and even though there was a bit of switching around to try and dodge that, he came through and delivered. Credit to the rest of the team though, especially Chilm in that team fight where you got the triple sleep. That was honestly beautiful. Huge play coming out there. But Dusty, we saw them struggle in their game 1 yesterday. Then they hit their stride, and it looks like they're just continuing it right now.
I'm glad that we've replaced you with a pop-up. Oh no, you're now just a microphone.
What? Yeah, I've just been.
There was a thing over your head like a pop-up. I don't know what that was all about.
I've just been omitted from the broadcast.
That's how we fire people here at the NLC. We just turn them off. We just don't want anything to do with them. But no, honestly, great. Oh, he's back. Hey, I'm fired. Great game by Dusty.
Time.
Really good game by Dusty. You know, it's on them to keep that up though. Can they get a 3-0? Can they make it back into the NLC, or are BIFROST going to be able to fire back? But for now, it's time for Strevda. That's adverts backwards. See you in a moment.
All right, you're going to solve a debate for us, Twitch chat. Who was the main character in Bend It Like Beckham? You can let us know on social media. Just use the hashtag NLClol or NLC. Let us know on social media, and if you get the right answer, make sure you at Hiprain and tell him he's wrong. Okay, so there we go. Right, first
I've got the answer.
You got the answer?
I've got the answer for this particular game we just watched.
Ah, okay, yeah, no.
The lead star definitely had to be Flaxis. We said that we criticized him a lot, the regular season, he was losing winning matches. Okay, the guy just had it. Okay, he just wasn't feeling it, fair enough. But on the Vladimir special, bringing it back, 8-0, 25-stack Magi's, we said how everyone from the side of Bifrost wanted to pile up to try and catch the Caitlyn, and when the Vladimir puts down the ultimate, no one can move forward, and it just worked so well. Whichever lane they were swapping into the Vladimir, he would completely destroy them, he would get the advantage, he would potentially push all the waves through, he was proxying at some point, it was unstoppable. And the problem here is, I don't think Vladimir is bannable at this point. I just think they played really poorly against it, and also Flaxis got Vladimir.
I think if we take it back to the draft phase as well, it was Dusty who was being extremely intelligent about it. A lot of times I see team being like, all right, I'm going to let these players have their comfort, and I think I have a response to it. Set response does not work out, and you go into the next game and you're forced to ban comforts again. But this time around, Bifrost may be absolutely demolished. They got all their comforts basically, and was completely outdrafted from the side of Dusty. 3 prior lanes from just having that lane swap around with the Yone or with the Renekton and the Vladimir, and then Yone went no armor runes and Vladimir went no magic resist runes, so it's just goddamn awful for them, even from the laning phase. And we talked about it, for Carters to essentially work, you need lane priority. Now you just played with 3 losing lanes, and it was just, you could just never get this ball rolling. Dusty was on top of the play from the get-go, even going back in draft.
Well, let's take a look at one of the plays that you guys wanted to break down this game. An influential play that kind of turned the match in favor of Dusty. I believe, Trouble, you are going to be our professor.
I am. So here is the two teams setting up for essentially the second Drake stack for each and every one of them. And if you pretty much look at the map here, I'm going to choose my favorite color for this one. Orange is they've sort of split up the river like this. Dusty's taking this side and Bifrost are taking this side. So if you continue playing this, you'll see that they will slowly but surely start moving into the map. And here is the important thing. Hoys moves right here. This is where Hoys will be playing with the Caitlyn. Due to the range, you have free fire on anyone who comes close to the wall. And this is very important. Why? As we continue to play the clip, you see that Proland moves extremely aggressive and they catch legions all on his own. The top side will start moving down, and you also have the Yone moving in. He's been pinched in, he is all alone, but he's not, because his entire team is literally right behind this wall. You see that Hoys will start free hitting, and here it is. I'm gonna play it in slow motion. The cow that slaps the Carthus. Look at his HP. He also gets ignited, and he's left with literally maybe 10% HP after this trade goes on, with just the support on the Carthus. Now this guy is arriving because the teleport is coming in, and these guys are extremely low. So if we continue to play this, you'll see that Hoys keeps free hitting, Chilm dives forward to completely kill the Carthus. And the very important thing again is that a lot of the abilities are saved. The heal from the Alistar, the pull from the Vladimir, exactly when the Requiem hits down on these champions. So that was a beautiful, if not the most beautiful response I have seen in this relegation series to the Carthus. The utmost respect, keeping your cooldowns, keeping your heals, keeping your invulnerabilities for that Requiem when it smacks down is so important. That's respected it and just turned out so well for them.
Yeah, finally. And that's the one thing. Finally, someone is able to play around the Carthus properly, because it is something that has plagued this relegation series for many series. Many of our full best of 5 series have been often decided by which Carthus gets the best Requiems off in the early game. So it's just nice to see a little bit of a shift in the way that teams are approaching it. And I think, Gulborg, you did say, both of you, I think, said before the series started, feels like a top matchup is going to be of importance. They gave Keys the Yone. It didn't really work out. They gave Flaxis a lot of responsibility on the Vladimir, a pick that we know he likes, and he absolutely killed it.
Yeah, and I think it also comes down to weak. I think Keys needs to be on a weak side. I've seen him too many times on a carry now, and it's just not worked out when we've taken this step up. And that's not to criticize him as a player, but that's also the resources you have from the side of Bifrost. I think you need them to put in Tide. I think he's shown that when he gets the resources and when he's popping up, that he's the more reliable carry. And therefore, I would like to see them go for a more standard composition with legitimately a just tank weak side top. So you have that front line, you play for your back line, and you make it work that way.
Well, of course, we've got more games in this series on the way. Bifrost, I think they're capable of bouncing back. I don't think this is a completely going to be a complete whitewash in the favor of Dusty, but Dusty have looked like they've gone from strength to strength in every series that they've played. They obviously had the tough opponents of Galaxy Racer to begin with, who went straight through to the NLC. So, you know, big ask for them to clearly beat the team, which I think came into this as the favorites. But I mean, I think Bifrost have got it in them. They just need to kind of like find a draft that works for them, maybe play more towards that unique champion pool in the mid lane, but we'll have to see. We're going to go to a quick break. When we're back, second draft on the way.
No matter what, we're gonna keep moving on.
Straight to pick and ban for our second game of this series, and nothing changing for Dusty here. Really going targeting Never Lucky with those, but very specific champion pools that he has. Well, I say specific champion pools, specific picks that he's very good at, whilst having a rather large champion pool available to him. The Nocturne and the Echo banned away, followed by the Hecarim for BIFROST.
And this time, yeah, BIFROST banning the Hecarim straight out the bat. So you can clearly tell that is the champion both teams do not want to give over. Last time when Dusty was on the side of Red, well, they were banning out the Hecarim as well. So now it's going to be interesting to say, are you just not giving the Yone over now? Are you just like, all right, let's just give that respect ban? Or do you have something else in mind where you want to take away a key champion, but you don't want to give out the other? And there it is, the Caitlyn ban will come through. So they have a champion in mind right now that they do want to prioritize. And then they could just not trade it over. There are still champions up, like Rel. You have the what's it called, the Udyr up right now as well. You can go for Lilia, has been a target or jungler that we've seen a lot of teams tend to go for in this relegation tournament. So still lots of option available.
And I really want to see if that will be the last Vladimir ban for the side of BIFROST, because it did cause a lot of trouble to them. But again, I don't think that there's a specific reason to ban it. As for when it comes to Yone, I have yet to see Never Lucky play Yone in the mid lane. 3 times it's been picked, 3 times it's been put top for BIFROST, and 3 times it's just been extremely underwhelming. Like, yeah, he's doing fine, yeah, he's doing even, but it just never gets the chance to pop off when you put it up in the top lane. And it is a matter of who's going to keep their top lane more even, so they don't fall behind in map presence. He has been the name of the game so far. And Tanu's gonna go again with the Karthus. At this time, I'm not necessarily too fearing of the Karthus, because I saw Dusty actually respecting the way they play around it. There were no dives, there were no crazy plays, there were no crazy trades in the lanes where they leave you on 10 and 20% HP, and I just really like it. And they snatch away the Yone as well. It's a really good matchup together with the Lilia. A really good match together with the Lilia, whether you want to play mid or top. And you can pick a Vladimir again here, because there's no problem. You'll pick an ADC later on. You've got the mixed profile all over your team.
I think there is still a lot of champions up, like the Thresh or Alistar you could go for to secure here on the 3rd pick if you want to instead, and they do go for the Alistar. Now, I think with Thresh being an available champion, I think he's a decent pick to go for as well. Give some extra pick potential, gets a play against the Alistar, and yeah, Death Sentence can be crucial for every starting team fight, but it's going to be interesting to see what they'll pan on. They can secure an AD carry now if they want to. Desire, we saw AD carries was banned out in the second ban phase before, and it is just going to be Desire.
Yeah, they're going to take no chances in that bot lane. Obviously, this means that Lucian very likely going to go mid. Now, there is that very wild possibility that we could see Lucian go top, but I think that's unlikely. So we'll see Lucian go mid here for that mid jungle duo with the mixed damage profiles that work out. And let's go to the ban phase now. I think obviously you target supports if you're Dusty. That makes the most sense. So things like Thresh, like you mentioned, Gulborg may be taken off the cards. It looks like, though, some top lane picks, or what we'd say, realistically top lane picks, are getting banned away by BIFROST.
I do like the adaptation here with the Xayah instead of the Ezreal, because it means that Broland will stick in lane. They will try to get tied ahead. They will play together. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the Thresh here, because you're going to have 3-4 squishes with a Thresh, and then you need hard engage, which no one's going to be able to follow through. So I would like to see some really heavy stuff coming in here, something like a Leona, something like a Nautilus, to pair up and get the Karthus in and get him to move forward, because I felt like Tanner was just not having this impact. He was getting soloed by the Alistar, which has been picked against him again. So he's going to have that fear of Pedersen with Ignite, just slamming him down and 1v1ing him. And yeah, I'm seeing a lot of squishiness from the side of Bifrost. So I think it's time to start getting a little bit beefy, getting these Malphites in there, possibly something like a Sion, the Null later on, maybe an Olaf, something that can go, not an Olaf, what am I saying? Something that can go all in together with the Karthus.
I'm running my round around what AD carry do you pick into the Sire as well, because with Caitlyn off the table, with Tristana, with Ezreal, there's still like the likes of Sire if you want to commit with hard engage with the Alistar and the Yone, which would honestly be fine. It's just like Sire has tend to have a easier matchup into that lane itself. And now I think you just pick your support, you can get the top lane counter pick, you keep the Lucian flex up. So to me, support just makes the most sense here, and you're going for the infamous Lovers Stew in the bot lane.
Oh, and it actually matches up. It matches up on champion select as well. You see, look at that. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. We've basically got the splash out and champion select.
Problem is, Rakan has a really hard time playing against an Alistar in lane, so they're definitely not going to have fun there. The second Rakan jumps in, you stun him in place, and then you throw him further back. So no matter where the Zarya is, he's going to have to move forward so the Rakan can move backwards, and that creates a lot of problems with the back and forth damage that's going to be going down. I'd like to see something like possibly a Jinx getting locked down here. A Kai'Sa wouldn't be a bad matchup into them either, because you can evade really easily. Boys, he's gonna play from distance. There you go. Matches up really well with the Lilia as well. You can stay at the back while everyone else goes in, and no one can touch you. But the Karthus, who's most likely gonna die again to the cow.
Tough times. Then now with the Gnar coming in, I kind of said it myself earlier. Like, I would love for Keys to get on a counter, what do you say, like weak side matchup, where you could just kind of play for the bot lane. But here, even in this situation, it becomes kind of hard to play for the bot lane. And going for R5 on into a Gnar would just be kind of depressing. And it is going to be what I want here. It is going to be the Malphite. It is going to be a front line, something you can go in with. And there is a lot of AD anyway from the side of Dusty, so it's not going to be a problem. But I think a lot of it is going to come down to execution again. As you mentioned yourself, Trouble, bot lane can be somewhat tough for them to play from BIFROST, but you don't need to pop off. You just need to kind of scale on the side of BIFROST, and that's what you're looking for. No snowballing on Dusty, and keep up with the curve. Or stay ahead of the curve.
All right, we've got 30 seconds until we're heading into game and handing over to our casters. Obviously, we've had Gulbo give a little roundup there. Trouble, what do you think about these two compositions and kind of who you're favoring coming into this game?
I feel like this Karthus composition is going to work much better for Bifrost, specifically because you're going to have the Lucian in the mid lane. This is a melee versus ranged matchup, and Lucian really punishes melee champions in the mid lane, no matter AP or AD. So he's going to have a free reign in the mid lane. The Karthus is going to be able to move around the map. The Malphite should never lose really hard to any matchup in the top lane that's AD, so he should stay safe. And then you play slowly but surely to try and get that Zarya ahead later on, try to get her fed enough, play for the bottom side of the map, play for the dragons, try to stack them up, let them walk to you, rather than what they tried to do last game, where they had the engage and they were trying to get the Karthus into the enemy team. This time you can wait for the other way around. Then you have the Rakan, you have the Malphite ultimate. You've got so many tools to stop people from coming in, but also allowing your Karthus to move forward.
Yeah, you can kind of play a bit more kiting backwards this time round, and you can always find the re-engage with the Malphite if you want to. But I think I do agree with you. I think this is a better chance of Bifrost to bounce back in this series. We'll have to see if they can manage it with our casters here, Brain and Orcs.
Cheers, Dad. Hello, and welcome to the caster desk as we're getting ready to go into game number 2 of this series.
Updated.
Dusty had a really, really good start to the series so far. Can they keep it going, or are Bifrost going to bounce back?
I think this is an important game. I mean, there's two sides to it. There's the aspect if you lose this, Bifrost have to win 3 in a row, which is very difficult to do. And there's the other that I feel like Bifrost got a pretty solid composition. So if they do lose this game, it's going to be very difficult to recover. This one is really important. And they have the tools to do so. As was being said on the desk, Lucian provides that priority for Karthus. You have a good spread of damage. And Malphite. Oh, there's a walk of shame for Cheelm to go back to base to pick the item.
I'm not sure what that was, actually. Strange. Oh well, we're on to the Rift.
Who knows? Maybe a quick DC. But yeah, I think the backline threat potential from this Malphite Karthus is huge. There's a lot of lockup, lot of CC. 2 carries who are relatively safe with their mobility, but there is a lot of tools for Dusty as well. And really, I'm looking at this mid lane. I want to see what Legions can do in this matchup. It should be Lucian favored, absolutely should. But there is potential even in a difficult matchup where you are ranged. Once you get a bit of momentum with the Yone, once you hit that level 3, you can actually look to challenge in the 1v1. We'll see what can come of that. But definitely a much more balanced draft to come out for this game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the RT in a delayed invade, but Pedersen spotted out by the sweeper. Ultimately, Bifrost are a lot slower to this mark, although Tan is trying to get in range to get the smite. Chickens aren't going to reset. Pedersen gets the 2-man pole, has to jump over the wall. Chelm just about to ting that level 2 mark. No, he's not. Legions is going low. The ignite might be enough. He's going to survive. No, he's not. It's first blood. Picked up for Never Lucky as Chelm being zoned out of his own jungle. Bifrost with a beautiful start to this game.
Yeah, Solution getting the kill. definitely not the situation you want coming out of that mid lane. So already a bad start. Pedersen loses his flash, not as big of a problem. He does have that Hex flash. But yeah, that sweeper from Tanu honestly just saved them. Because if he'd walked in there blind, the Alistar gets a 4-man pulverize, and that is basically game over. So good foresight to check for that one, and then they end up winning that level 1 play. Good target selection, I'll say, overall. And you can see Dusty a little bit split, a little bit tentative as to what they wanted to get out of that play.
Ultimately, though, as we head back into the lanes itself, Hoyes and Pedersen were first into lane, so they have the level lead over Tide and Broland. And
Bit
kind of
painful for
forcing them
Zyra
under
Khan.
tower.
Like, as a Zyra Khan, your level 1 is so powerful. You want to be able to challenge. And obviously, you know, it's a bit difficult for Khan to W in level 1. But just Zyra alone can do a lot of work. But later lane, forced in, allows Hoyes and Pedersen to move up a little bit into the river. See, mid lane Legions is not having a fun time.
No, he's not. And in the jungle, Tanu, even though he had a nice invade, having a pretty rough go of it as Chelm is stealing away his camps. Flaxish is waiting in the wings in case Tanu moves over to spot out Chelm. There's a smite on Chelm, so there you go. Steals away the red buff. He could go over to his blue. Or Crab. Probably Crab.
Yep. And still a lot of his jungle available to clear. You can see, because he's starting the rafters, that is now spawning again. You can see pings are coming out. He wants this defended. Because obviously after already being cleared once, you have the leveled up rafters with a lot more XP. He does not want these to get invaded by Tanu. But on the other side, BIFROST are making a big considered effort to move towards and contest that. I think these rafters are just gone.
Yeah, I don't really think there's too much they can do about that one. Legions didn't even clear the wall with his Q, unfortunately. So no way he's going to be able to contest that one. Also gets a quick chunk out of him from Never Lucky.
Yeah, so overall, Tanu's not too bothered about losing the red buff. You get the leveled up raptor stolen away. You get the bot side scuttle. He's fairly okay with that trade-off.
Flax is actually not having quite as a good a lane right now, but has obviously got the advantage in the fact he doesn't have mana when Kez does have mana, but at the moment doesn't actually have any mana. He's out, meaning somewhat exposed as Flax is just going to jump forward. Does find him here, and they may just look for a cheeky kill. They've got themselves all of the damage they need, and Flaxish going to get himself a turnaround kill.
Yeah, and Flash is getting the kill, so puts him in a good position. That's unlucky, but you're actually in a really bad spot now.
Yeah, Pedersen might be in trouble right now. In a lot of late waste, gets a 2-man pole buff, gets a bit of movement speed. Legions is just going to bail his support out.
Yeah, really nice play, utilizing the phase rush to get away, and Legions can dash in to provide some peel. So BIFROST bringing 3 members over, don't manage to find a successful play in the mid lane. And again, Flash is 1-0 in this matchup now. Even though Malphite obviously can, you know, kind of weather the storm in this matchup, if Nar starts to get a lead, it becomes extremely difficult.
It's going to be an early dragon picked up for the side of BIFROST, though. They get a bunch of pressure on this bot lane with the fact they rotated into the top side meant Hoyes had to play nice and safe as he was isolated and alone. Dragon's going to get picked up. They knew it was going on, but there wasn't really anybody in position to contest that.
Yeah.
And junglers, you know, even though Chelm has been trying to accelerate himself, is equal right now to Tanu. And the fact that Tanu got those level 2 chickens as well, it's really nice for him. Legion's getting ignited by Never Lucky, will survive this little all-in. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Tide is low, and Hoy's dodging away on a lot of the stuff here. They get themselves a flash forward. They get the follow-up. Not going to find a second kill. But Chelm on the board.
Chelm doing absolute work in this series. Finding the play on the bot side. Fortunately, you didn't get to see how that play developed out, but Tide caught out and burning both summoners. Now, Legions, I mean, you have to go back on that.
He does, but Never Lucky can't really step up. Legions will get the heal off from his Q. Hits that level 6 mark, and now that means Never Lucky is just going to have to go for a recall in the jungle. And I did see Flaxish move down, but he decided better of it, and Legion's just going to get a free shove here.
Yeah.
Which is nice for him, because he is down in farm right now, so
yeah, I mean,
waving always helps.
he was harassed pretty heavily out of the lane and typically would have had to go for a reset there, but because Neverlucky overcommits, he's actually able to pick up a lot of that CS discrepancy and he's able to get a reset. And the big thing now is that Legion's is level 6, and having the ultimate on the Yone means there's a lot more threat towards Solution. You can't disrespect him as much. You can't go for dives like that because if the ult connects, you're just dead.
Oh, Pedersen, there's the flash, there's the pulverize. They've got all the follow-up. No level 6 available for Tide and no flash. Hoyes has that 4th shot and Tide will go down. Gets very close to taking out Hoyes, but 4th shot from him will be enough.
Yeah, good effort from Tide trying to turn that one around, but it's just not enough. And ultimately, Breland's been moving around the map so much, Tide's kind of been left isolated and the vision control hasn't been set up properly around bot lane. Nice play coming out from Pedersen and Hoyes there.
With that, the gold lead is in favor of Dusty. It's only a small amount at the moment, 1,000, but we're 7 minutes into the game, so 1,000 lead at 7 minutes, nothing to sneer at. Dragon will be spawning up in 2 minutes. Rift Herald is about to come up onto the map, and you can already see Dusty have swapped up their bot lane in going through the mid lane to see if they need to contest it. They've realized that they are just going to go back towards this bot lane, so Hoyes will have to solo that one. I'm talking while Kez and Flaxish are just fighting, and Flaxish is going to find a kill.
Beautiful play.
Apparently, I can't play by play. I was looking at the map.
Jake, looking at the map? Who are you? I mean, just a really solid play. Flash is hitting everything. Wallops 2 times in a row, hits the boulder 2 times in a row, landed the ult into the wall. He's kind of a little bit disrespectful there. Didn't want to be in the ultimate, waits too long, and then just gets executed by Flaxis. And now there's a big CS lead and a big kill lead, and top lane matchup is starting to look a little bit rough.
Legion's getting jumped into. Is they going to be able to use the Soul Unbound? As they do get the 2-man Polv off, but there isn't really any follow-up. Pedersen's phase rush will get him out scot-free, while Chelm takes the Rift Herald.
Yeah, nice little takeaway coming there from Chilm, able to pick that one up, and the movement comes out from Bifrost to get that bot lane to the top side. They don't want Gnar into Malphite anymore. It's proving to be a little bit rough. But also, the plan with the shift like this is you want to be contesting the Herald, and they're just too slow, too late on the rotation. And now Chilm, since he has free reign to place it down bot lane, that tower's already chunked out a fair bit, and Malphite isn't really in a position to defend it.
Legion's getting jumped into, but actually turns it back around with the ulti. The Ignite's been thrown down, and here comes the Requiem. Legions can't get the damage in time, but Chelm's making his way over the swell speed. Will connect, and it's a 1-for-1.
Power of that Requiem coming in with the Lucian, who's able to challenge in those 1v1s. You can just clean up, but unfortunately for Bifrost, Chilm is able to easily answer back. And overall, it's a win for Dusty. You get the shutdown on the Lucian. Requiem gets burned for a 1-for-1. Definitely favorable for Dusty in this situation, and they're starting to rack up a pretty considerable lead, 2k gold, and they still have the Herald in pocket to make use of.
10 minutes on the clock. Chelm has 300 more gold than Tanu. Tanu's had a pretty decent game of it as far as the farming goes. 81 CS. Has finished clearing his full jungle, though, while Chelm has a full jungle to clear. And Tanu, these sweepers are pretty big, but unfortunately this time doesn't spot out in time and is going to have to burn the flash to get away.
Really nice play from Pedersen coming out here, honestly, on this Alistair. He's been playing with fire at times, but utilizing the phase rush effectively to dodge away, but just setting up so many plays for the side of Dusty. They're looking to be in a really good spot, and with a 2k gold lead, Herald still in pocket, and Chilm did look like he was starting the Dragon, but is actually moving mid to cover Legions here. Herald's gonna get thrown down. This is just more gold being put on the Yone.
Yeah, he's had a pretty bad laning phase, so for him to get an injection of gold is lovely. As actually, he wasn't in range, don't worry. Legion's putting a pause in there going, wait, I didn't get any tower plates. What?
It's like, all right, I want a new jungler. My jungler just scammed me. And it's like, no, that's on you, dude. Well.
Oh, God, that's so tragic. Well, Chelm, who had a 300 gold lead over Tanu, probably about to get quite a lot bigger now. I think that was about 600 gold. No, sorry, 300 gold worth of plates, or just under that. It's 150.
And at this point, they can easily pick up the Dragon. Top lane is just becoming a bigger and bigger issue. Malphite not really able to hold Flaxius right now. And I got to give huge credit to Flaxius. I think, over the past couple of splits, he hasn't really had the best performances with regards to how his team have been doing. There'd be moments where it's looked positive, but I think in just the entire relegation tournament, he has really looked on fire. He's been consistently winning lane. He's consistently been challenging the top lane matchup. And some games that hasn't been enough to win the game, but some games it absolutely has. And I think he's really been showing what he can do in these top lane matchups. So huge credit to him. Really looking good. And the only unfortunate thing is that it is a relegation series, and we had to wait this long to get to see this Dusty in this form, but they are looking really formidable right now.
That's the thing as well for me, where I like Flaxis is you know, he's been a name around for a while, especially on these regional leagues. He's been someone who, you know, we've always had high expectations of. He's a very storied and very you know, experienced player. This split was not a great split for him. He genuinely had probably one of the worst splits I've ever seen him play. And you know, the Flaxis we're seeing now is the Flaxis we expected during the regular season. So it's good that he's finally found his all. Like you said, though, it is relegation. So at the end of the day, best case scenario, you re-qualify off the back of that. And, you know,
if you're going to be playing well,
that's great. But yeah, you would have rather made playoffs. And remember how close they were. This is kind of the one thing I've been harking on for the last couple of days. Dusty were almost in playoffs. That was how close their group was. This is how the cookie has crumbled. I'm going to shut up with this storyline now because I've been, you know, beating that horse dead for the last couple of days.
I think you can see why, though. I think from how they're playing now, you can see why, and why there were such expectations on them coming to the split. Because at the moment they are looking more like the team we expected to see. We're looking like it's not just Flaxis as well. Like across the entire roster, there was higher expectations on this team, and we're starting to see the pieces come together. We're starting to see the coordination. We're starting to see the play set up. It's not perfect by any means, but no team is. And I think it's looking positive. And now for Bifrost, it's about bouncing back, because you lose this, and it's the fact that they won Tally and they were so close to coming through and getting this spot, losing out to Galaxy Racer and being down 1-0, being down in your second game. You need to find a window back in. And I think it comes from utilizing the pick potential they have in the composition. There's huge AoE CC being offered. There's great follow-up with the Karthus ult with the Lucian, being able to line up with Culling. You just need to start making more proactive plays and finding these picks. You need to find isolated members, because right now it feels like Dusty are running around the map. They're picking up members of Bifrost. They just got Thanos Flash. They're just going back and forth and taking names.
Yeah, and at this point in time, as the pause started, they were already setting up for Dragon. Pedersen and Chelm just kind of rotating around the map together has been really, really impactful. It's starting to be a thorn in the side of Bifrost, when last game, it was kind of the Flaxis show. This game, it's definitely the Chelm show. Sure, Flaxis is 2-0, and he's having a great game. But for me, Chelm and Pedersen having a much, much better game right now. And they are the two players who are causing all the issues. It does look like our pause has come to an end as we are getting ready to get back into the game. But yeah, I'm excited to see how this one shapes out, because Bifrost, you know, to make it this close, to make it one series away from qualifying, and then imagine if you get 3-0'd here. It's got to be absolutely devastating, especially when you lose a game to the team you beat in the finals of the Telia, of the qualifying series you played through to get here.
Yeah, it just kind of shows that Talia wasn't as important as winning the relegation series when it comes to the consequences in the end. Do you see it's an Ocean Soul map? Neither team too close to getting that one with just one apiece. He's taking some heavy damage, but can just dash away. And something to think about is the Karthus, because game 1 wasn't really too impactful. Game 2, again, still hasn't really done much, and kind of feels like Dusty aren't really playing into this. It was talked about the deaths. They're not making the typical mistakes we've seen in the Karthus, and it's like, could this end up just being a bit of a bait pick for Bifrost? Because we've seen it be really successful, and I think but like it isn't actually that strong. Like when we see the high level teams playing, seen a bit of an all in.
Yeah, I mean, that is just never lucky. Getting himself a kill onto Legions. Legions way too over eager to go for that play.
One of the hero play. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, our top NLC teams, and even in the LAC and in the major leagues, Karthus isn't as high a priority as we've seen in this relegation tournament. It very much seems like Dusty have worked out how to deal with it. And my question is, are Bifrost just being baited in, picking it again and again? I guess we'll see how this one pans out. I do think the Lucian Karthus Karthus combo is powerful, but so far hasn't really had too much impact.
Keys
Flaxish
actually
could be in
just chasing
trouble.
Flaxish down. Flaxish, no Gnar available for quite a while. He flashes, but Keys just follows underneath the tower
Ooh,
and
beautiful.
gets himself the shutdown and a solo kill. Beautiful play from him.
Just patience there, waiting for the flash. You can see Flash is trying to hold for as long as possible. And it got to the point where, you know, if you're in melee range of a Malphite, there's very little reaction time on a Malphite ult. It's really hard to flash away from that one. So couldn't hold his nerves, end up flashing, Keys follows and gets the solo kill of all things. Considering how rough his matchup was earlier, considering Flash has found that solo kill before, I didn't expect that to come out, but credit to Keys.
Yeah, honestly, a really, really nice play. This is one of the things you were talking about. I think it was today, or maybe it was yesterday, where there is a small window to punish on the Malphite. And that was it. That was that little window where you can punish that matchup when the Mega Gnar's not going to be building up. No worry about him turning on you. Beautiful from Keys. Now, Hyde does get a Blade Cooler off onto a Dusty, and they're not going to be able to take that plate. There's the final plate, actually. The plates will fall off, so that's actually quite a nice denial. Just a little bit extra gold being denied from this bot lane. As Legion's once again feeling himself. Never Lucky is just going to jump into him. No spirit, no soul unbound. Doesn't really want to ulti to jump away to safety, so Legion's going to take quite a lot of poke.
And mid lane is where we're seeing a bit of an issue. Never Lucky pretty significantly behind and able to challenge.
Oh, they can put him to sleep.
so.
They're
Oh,
gonna
actually
do it.
is.
Lilting Lullaby's coming in. Legion's no flash, but they are just able to jump away to safety. Little bit too slow on the old sleep from Chelm.
It's just so hard. I mean, you're just never catching Never Lucky there. I didn't think the sleep was going to come out because he has his dash, he has Gale Force, and he has Flash. So, you know, the sleep starts to come down. Suddenly he's back in base pretty much with that much mobility. So no real way to connect. Actually, has Mega again. Got to be a bit careful again. Once it times out, that's where you're vulnerable. And we saw that before the solo kill. Right now, though, Herald up and available. Dragon in a minute 15. Dusty want to get control of this area. They don't have that Lilia sleep available, and Poise just isn't anywhere near on the map. You can see Tide has actually made this movement up already, and Hoyes is going to be a bit behind.
They did use that sleep, remember, by Chelm, so Never Lucky gets out of that one. He did burn his Gale Force to get away to safety. But this does mean Chelm doesn't have sleep for a little bit. Is finding Tanu here. Flaxish is building up the Narbar, and I think we're in for a bit of action as Legions is going to get spotted out by Tide. Tries to dash away to safety as the feathers get burned, and already a lot of damage coming out onto both sides as the Requiem's going to get used. Legions is just going to ping back into safety, but
Beautiful.
not before jumping back into the action. Not before finding a little bit more here as Flaxish goes for the Gnar, and Tide is doing a lot of damage. Hoyes will lose his life, and Flaxish gets the other one. It is a 3-for-3 so far. And Flaxish getting chased down by Tanu and Keys. They got the Rift Herald as well. They are going to look to try and deliver Keys into the waiting arms of Flaxish. And it's a 4-for-4 team fight. But Bifrost come out with the Rift Herald.
What an absolute mess. Bifrost do win out on that one. They get the Rift Herald. And looks like Tanu just going to be able to transition this one into a dragon. Bear in mind they were behind in gold as well. Massive win coming out. But TP coming in for Legions. They're not giving over the Dragon. Herald is enough for Bifrost to take. And Shielm's going to be here pretty soon, so no real chance of them contesting this one.
Now slowing down a little bit is Bruland. Just need to be a little bit careful. Can obviously jump away to a bit of safety, but gets interrupted already. They've got the Lilting Lullaby out this time.
Oh,
that was a
what a
gorgeous wham into the wall by Flaxish as Legions is taken out by Never Lucky. Dragon is secured by the side of Dusty, and now Flaxish on the wrong side of the map, throwing out the Swirl Seed as the Deadly Flourish by Hoyes going to go a little bit too wide, and Flaxish all alone, all isolated, and he's now a mini Gnar. Keys is coming over as well. Got the Unstoppable Force onto two key members, and Hoyes trying to buy some space as Tide will find himself a kill, but Durson gets one in response. But this is just sloppy team fighting by Dusty. Flaxish is still alive somehow. He almost got a kill onto Tanu. Actually forced the flash out, and now Flaxish gonna try and jump forward, gonna try and find himself the kill. The shutdown gifted to the Karthus. What the hell is going on?
Tried his best. It's turned into an absolute fiesta. Bifrost don't get the dragon there, but they do win it out again overall in kills, managing to close that goal lead even more. Just an absolute mess, these team fights. And yeah, chaos. We're going to get a little bit of a replay on the dragon fight. And in this situation, the dragon's secured. I think it was just an overcommit. You don't need to take the fight here. Like, even then, Flax just gets the ult. He should just look to leave straight away. You know that the side of Bifrost are respawning, end up overstaying massively, and they keep committing to the fight. They let Malphite respawn and get back into it, and that's one of the big issues. Keys doesn't even care about Flaxies. He just goes straight in for these backliners, finds Hoys pretty easily, and then although Pedersen manages to trade kills, he goes down as well.
Did give a shutdown over to the Carthus. Now Leandries and a Medjai onto Tanu.
Just saying, like, maybe the Carthus is a bait pick. It's looking pretty good now.
Maybe it was a bait for Flaxish all along, as they do jump in onto Legions. Legions has to ult away to safety, but he's ignited. And Tanu with the Leandries burn's going to get himself the kill. Rift Herald is going to get someone in the mid lane and taken out, but did do a fair amount of damage to this tower. Meanwhile, in the top side, Flaxish will pick up the first turret of the game, and now Chelm being run down. Tries to get away, but Lilting Lullaby is going to put 2 to sleep, not before he is put onto the grey screen.
And Bifrost
just crumbled. What's gone on?
But Bifrost are just put pedal to the metal, and they are just going around and finding picks. And often it starts from Tanu walks up, he puts down his wall, slows them, and then Brulan jumps to him, jumps in, finds the engage. And Dusty are just faltering massively. Legions is not looking good in this Yone pick. He's really struggling. He's getting chain killed. And the rest of the team just kind of getting baited into these poor fights.
I mean, Legions is Usain Bolt right now. He's just sprinting. Like, I'm just so confused by how they keep getting caught over and over. And this started good for Dusty as well. Honestly, Bifrost's amazing work. Able to pull back what was a pretty rough start. You know, they did get that kill on to Neverlucky at the beginning of the game. But Flaxish was 2-0, Chelm was 2-0. And since then, Flaxish has kept his pressure up. He's kept his end of the bargain. Chelm hasn't. Chelm has died a couple of times. He hasn't been as impactful. And Legions is just really struggling.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is with Yone is he only really offers damage. And of course, he does scale well, even if he's behind. But you are squishy. And you are just going to get absolutely annihilated, especially when you're this far behind. There's so much damage on this Lucian, so much damage on this card. There's 15 stacks on that Medjai's. And again, you have a Malphite. You have a Malphite Recon. It's so easy to start these engages, these fights, and find really solid picks on these squishier members. I'm starting to feel a bit concerned for Dusty in this one.
Yeah, I am a little worried for them.
It was self-inflicted as well. It's just, I mean, Bifrost have definitely stepped up, so fair play to them. But Dusty just, it feels like they're just opting into these fights they don't need to.
It's a mixture of like good punish from Bifrost and also them just, you know, playing it well when they find these opportunities. It's not like they're gaining just a pick. It's always a couple of things. Now, the big problem they still have is this Gnar is still very strong.
Yep.
Chelm will be impactful still. Working towards that Sonya's Hourglass, now got the stopwatch. And Dusty, you know, I think they've wisened up a little bit to what Bifrost have been doing. And they're going to slow the pace down, but with 29 seconds until this dragon spawns up. And with the pressure in the mid lane by Bifrost right now, does feel like this may just have to be a conceded dragon from the side of Dusty.
Yeah, you don't have the vision control. You cannot face check in this team. I just think you let it go.
Yeah, Chelm is going to get all in, and Pedersen has to tank it. It's now just you have to let it go.
Yeah, for sure. They're actually moving towards Baron.
They've been swapping vision. They haven't been spotted at all here. They're in complete blindness.
Oh, if they get this, Neverlucky needs to go and check now. He's heading over. No blue check available right now.
Toggle back. I need to see it. He's walking away.
He's not even looking.
Neverlucky's going for red buff. No, he's not. He's going for the top wave. Brulan's going to check, but it's too late. It's actually too late. It's gone. There is a Requiem, but like... Oh!
I think he might have popped the ult to try for steal. I don't know, but A great play by Dusty, all things considered. They knew that the attention was going towards that dragon, but BIFROST just letting it slip. They'd gotten back into this game, felt like they were in a good spot. They finally got the gold lead, and then they end up trading a second dragon for the Baron. Like, that, still 2 more dragons for BIFROST to get a soul. That really doesn't make that much of a difference, but Baron for Dusty is huge.
That was a very heads-up play from Dusty. I think because of the way the vision had been placed, and Dusty had just completely conceded dragon vision, I think that was a play they were kind of ready to go for the minute the dragon spawned. They wanted to pretend like they were going to contest, and then they just bolt away.
I think what made it better was the fact that Cheom got chunked out. So, like, okay, jungler's low. Cheom's going to go in his jungle and read.
All part of the plan, baby. All calculated.
And now, this is going to allow them to push up, get some more gold on these plates. But Legions has to be a bit careful here.
Yeah, like you said, he is quite squishy. He does have the shield bow for a bit more survivability. He's going to try and lifesteal up on this wave. Got Flaxish in the top lane shoving out Hoy's all alone in the mid lane. He will take another tower for his team, and that will put us to 3-2 as far as the towers are concerned.
A 2k gold lead. Remember, before that Baron, BIFROST are ahead, and now Dusty's starting to pull it up again. 11k gold on that Gnar. And although there's still a big advantage in the mid lane, you see that the gap's been closed in the jungle, and Hoy's is up on Tide right now.
Hoy's now finished up the Lord Dom's got a BF sword in the inventory. Legion's building towards his Infinity Edge, or maybe Shield Bow. We'll see exactly. Not Shield Bow, sorry, Bloodthirster. We'll see what he decides to go for, as he is just spamming the thumbs up.
He
He's having
has
a great game.
a shield bow, Jake.
I meant Bloodthirster. I corrected myself.
Okay, well, I'll correct you as well. Still going to be a bit cautious about pushing too far. There's still concerns. Lucian can come flying out and chunk someone out with the Carthers up to follow. Malphite is still a threat. And right now, BIFROST aren't really showing up too much. They're kind of keeping a little bit hidden, potentially looking for these picks. Oh, Cheom.
He's dead. Cheom said a lot used there. He's going down.
Yeah, I mean, that's what BIFROST were looking for. With showing on the map and just easily able to blow up that Lilia before Jill even has a chance to use Flash or Zhonya's. They do look to find Flashes as well, but he's just able to dash away. And all in all, this Baron, it gave them a bit. They got a couple of towers. The gold and the experience is definitely nice, but it hasn't amounted to a massive amount. It kind of has just slowed BIFROST down. Definitely still a big takeaway for Dusty to get that. Definitely still a positive, but they're still not in a position where they can really start destroying all the structures for BIFROST. They still got those tier 1s up.
This is kind of why you clear out the vision with your jungle. Oh, sorry, with your support. Because you're a squishy Lilia. Sure, you have stopwatch, but
I think Alistair would tank that a little bit better.
Ultimately, it's going to cost them. They did try and cross-map onto Keys when he walked back into lane, but he just walks away. He's completely fine. Tanny's about to finish up his death cap, closing in on that item. Got the 2 needless in his inventory. Level 15 to Chelm's level 13, so almost got all the points in the Requiem as well. So this is going to be one hard-hitting Karthus.
I mean, once you got level 16 and you have the completed Rabadons, it's really scary. Now, Dusty have got control of this area around the dragon, but there is a ward actually behind them. You can see in the river that hasn't actually been swept, so still offering a little bit of vision to BIFROST over there. Dragon spawning in 35, and Dusty want to set up this. I think the big thing in this one is to look at what Keys can do with his ultimate. That's the really big impact maker. Because essentially, apart from Flaxish in the Gnar, anyone he hits with that, well, I mean, I guess the Alistair as well, but any of the squishy members he hits with that are just doomed.
Wow. Flaxish is also doing a fair amount of work here. Teleport's coming in on the flank. They're actually just looking to jump straight onto Hoy's. Hoy's has to flash this one, but he's unable to do so. The Requiem's going to rain down. Brulan doing so much work as they are just going to ping back to safety. Lilting Lullaby only going to land on a couple of members, but they just did not have the follow-up ready. Chelm is chunked out. It's going to have to be one hero play. Flaxish about to gnar out, though, so it's going to start to stack up the damage onto Tanu. Legion's making his way over. No Fate Seal. Does he have to use it offensively? Is Flaxish, can he get it off in time? Dragon's going to get secured. They do get the knock-up as they've got the damage onto that back, but the fight is split by so many fronts, and Tide is just mopping through members. It's the ace for Bifrost.
Crushing fight there for Bifrost. Keys comes in with a beautiful engage. And as we said, you have to watch the impact he finds. He just blew up Poise off the mark, and then the rest of the team able to clean up. The Karthus ult coming in clutch. Bifrost get the dragon, and they're going to start knocking on the base. They aren't going to be able to end at this point. Baron is up in 25. Chilm is also spawning at the same time. I feel like Bifrost can just reset, get over there, and start it off. And Poise nearly stopping the recall of Tana. That actually could have been huge. With a replay, and just instantly comes in with the ult. Poise doesn't flash it in time, goes down, and then the Karthus ult just really chunks out Chilm and puts Dusty on the back foot. They've already lost the 80 carry. They're already chunked out. They do try and go for the reset, and honestly, I think at this point, you should have just backed away. You should have just let the dragon go. It's only third. But instead, they look for this play. Flaxish jumps in, doesn't quite connect the stun onto Tanu, and then just the Karthus is too powerful with these frontliners, and you can see in the backline, they were trying to make a play, but they were unsuccessful. Oh,
Hoy's able to jump away this time. Bruland will get himself the engage they need, though. Pedersen goes down, and Baron, probably on the cards right about now, is going to have to be a absolute miracle of a fight if Dusty want to contest it. Chelm's on the other side of the map. He's not even remotely interested in this one.
So what happened in the replay was Keys went for an ult onto Hoy's. Hoy's flashed it this time, but then you obviously saw the Rakan come in. He had the Gale Force, and unfortunately, although he got out, Pedersen didn't, and Dusty just aren't in a position to contest this one. Baron picked up by Bifrost, 4,000 gold lead. They are looking far better in this game. And again, Tanu, level 16, Rabadon's in pocket, 23 stack Medjais. This Requiem is going to hit.
I didn't realize we were in a replay. My bad.
Nice.
Is what it is. Anyway, Death Cap's been finished up. Tanu's almost got his Medjais. There's a lot of locked gold. Like, if Dusty can kill Tanu, they can kill Neverlucky and Tide in a fight. The gold lead is going to shrink substantially. But these are a lot of big ifs, and these are really hard things to do. Keys is consistently finding the people he needs. He has his ultimate available. And guess what? Hoy's used his flash and his Gale Force to get out from last time. Doesn't have either now, as they are looking for a quick turnaround as the curtain has been called. Chilm looking to try and get the engage. Flaxish is coming around, but he's not mega. They are just going to get a little bit of a slow off, and Flaxish wants to stack up the bar, but here comes Keys looking for Flaxish. Boys is playing so far away from anyone as they get themselves a Requiem off as well. Pedersen in the middle of the enemy team, and it is just falling apart for the side of Bifrost. It was a great attempt for them to get that Baron earlier, but Bifrost are just punishing so hard. Flaxish is going to try and catch the wave, but there's a Lucian about, so can't even do that. And this will be the base. It could even be the game here.
Yeah, you see Flaxish TPing back to try and defend, but at this point, Bifrost is just so strong. Very hard to see a world in which Dusty win out this team fight against them. Malphite ult's still available is the big thing, so realistically, he's just going to charge forward and take out both the backline, it feels like.
Yeah, look at Hoyes. He has to play scared. He's not able to do too much here. If they do get the big fate sealed off, but it's only onto Neverlucky. Flaxish gnars out. Can he find the slam back? No, he can't. Just repositioning as Hoyes gets jumped onto. Joyce gets taken down. Chilm's coming in, trying to find himself asleep onto multiple members, but it's not going to be enough. The Nexus is exploded, and we are going over to game number 3. 1 apiece, as Tanu is going to close out the game.
I mean, it was a better composition coming out of draft for Bifrost. It wasn't clean. The early game was messy, and it honestly felt like Dusty were getting control, but then they just slipped up. They played in the Bifrost composition. They kept opting into these rough fights. Legions just died endlessly in that game. And even though they managed to sneak away that nice Baron, it just wasn't enough. It just felt like, you know, when this Malphite comes barreling at you, you know the Requiem's going to follow. You know there's the Rakan. Very little you could do up against that.
Excandro had a massive rant about it, and I'm assuming it's going to come fairly soon. Teams in the relegations can't play into Karthus. It's just a thing. There was one game where, in our last game, but that is the only game this entire relegation series where I've seen a Karthus not have a silly scoreline. Genuinely, ban Karthus. We'll see you after this break.
gonna say it, guys. I'm gonna say it. I didn't want to say it, but I'm gonna say it.
Here it goes again.
Got a series in our hands. It's 1-1 apiece. BIFROST. Oh, no. You thought I was going to say Ban Karthus. Yeah, Ban Karthus. But yeah, Dusty and BIFROST, 1-1 apiece now. It was a good bounce back from BIFROST in that series. I mean, Dusty just seemed to just lose everything that made them good in the first game, and I don't even know where to start.
I will say that from the get-go, this was an easier draft from BIFROST to actually play. You had priority lanes, which, who would have known, actually helps you out in a game like League of Legends to have priority where you move around the map. And I will say, never lucky, an interesting dynamic of that Lucian lane, because you force out the Yone, no flash, have to get the TP, and it felt like there was no pressure. Then when those summoner spells were back up, then he was like, you know what, now it's time for me to solo kill him. And then he just started to take over the game as well. It was easy for the Carters to get fell into skirmishes, because we see that a lot on our level, especially relegation. So this is also one of the reasons why we're talking as Carters as we are.
Honestly, I felt like the big boo-boo that happened there for the side of Dusty is that the fact that they lost Flash on their Yone, literally level 1. And the fact that Chilm is able to also steal a buff while his mid laner is suffering was absolutely huge for them. And I thought, wait, this might have been the turnaround, but then the Yone kept getting abused in the mid lane by the Lucian. The Lucian got huge, and when you have such strong mid laner such as Lucian with one item over people who are like scrambling for pieces of items around in fights like the Dragons, in fights like Top River for Shelly, it just becomes so much easier when you got this stomping Lucian being all over the map. And I felt like the fact that Lucian got so far ahead, it bought so much time for Thanos Karthus. He just literally kept on going from camp to camp to camp, pressing R every now and again, and just being even. And I think me and Goldberg looked at the time and were like, 25 minutes in, 35k gold apiece. Yeah, that's a Karthus game.
I completely agree, and I think I want to see Karthus banned just for the main reason I do not want to see these games that are just over by a certain point in the game. You just have to wait to see the Karthus decimate every team fight, and you know it's going to happen. You just watch the teams desperately try and find a way to play around it, but when Fed Karthus is fed, he just needs to press one button, and that's it. Game's over.
You know, it wouldn't surprise me that they say that Karthus wasn't the problem, but Lucian was, just because how much of lane that Legions actually wasn't allowed to play. Something he's actually been stepping up on these last playoffs, or relegation. It's not playoffs, it's relegation. For BIFROST, it may seem like playoffs, but I would say that Legion's definitely not feeling as at his most comfortable spot in that game, and I think you want to enable him, because we have seen Legions when he's been enabled, and it's been looking really good so far this relegation.
Yeah, I think Legion's, especially when he has a bit more lane prior, like you said, a bit more agency in that mid lane, it's definitely a lot stronger. I believe we do have trouble again breaking down a clip from that game though, so let's have a quick look at that before we think about our third game of the series.
Before we break down everything, let's play a game. It's called Show Me Your Inventory and I'll Show You Mine. See this guy right here who changed the color again? Oh my god. Okay, there we go. So you see that? This is a Death Cap, Leandris, 15 stack Magi's. That looks beautiful. 1, 2, 3 items here against 2.5. That's a big yikes, because that's 1.5. 2 maybe here. Supports no MR. Big. And then you look at the gold and you're like, wow, Dusty is actually ahead. This should be a great fight. But these two guys here are absolutely monstrous for the side of BIFROST. So if we do play this clip, Dusty are working together here. They're going to push the wave here and then go back down for the dragon that's spawning. 2 dragons apiece, so they all want to stack for the third and soul point. So as we play this clip, Dusty keeps pushing, and here is the big TP that comes in from the Rockman, and look who is all alone at the front. He does have his flash available, but look at the one that's gonna come from the flank. There's just so much engaged from the side of BIFROST. They catch Hoys, never like it just dashes in, the Requiem is gonna go down, and then everyone else escapes by the skin of their teeth. And now, Dust is like, this is the time, right? We can just grab this Drake, get the heck out, because the Requiem is not up, but everyone on the side of BIFROST is. And again, they're gonna try to pull a fight because they're like, okay, we're down in numbers advantage, but the big ultimates are gone. Guess what? So is Dusty's, and you're actually behind in firepower because the Lucian and the Karthus are still alive. Karthus in the pit, Lucian up top, Each of them does their job, and they completely ace Dusty.
Something else that I think is worth noting, I have not been impressed with any Yones at all in relegation series. I don't think I've seen one Yone performance and think, wow, that was a banger. I think I've seen everyone who's played Yone, I'm thinking, that's a little underwhelming.
Did you
I'm
see
not
a
entirely
bird?
sure. What's that, sorry?
Kubok, did you spot a bird?
I
Where
was
were you
just
looking?
I was just looking for the positives, the Yones, but I couldn't find anyone.
Oh, right, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, the thing is, like, I'm sure it must be strong, right? I'm sure it must have its redeeming qualities. It's just that we're not seeing it played to the level I guess Yone can be played at. That's not to say these guys can't do it. They clearly are picking it for a reason. You don't just pick random Yone picks and just throw out in competitive if you've never played it before and never had success with it. I'm not calling our players
Give us
idiots.
the
'cause they clearly
Chovy
are.
experience, please.
Yeah, I just, I think I was hopefully expecting someone to pull off a good Yone. We've got to wait a little bit longer for that, though, this series. Now, obviously,
Next
we've
game?
got more
Next game,
games.
maybe?
Yeah, exactly. We've got more games to come. We clearly have at least another 2, as both of our teams are 1-1 apiece right now. So we're going to go to a short break. When we're back, we'll come back for our third game.
There goes that passing light in the twilight before the dark hour. And this time I better get it right, 'cause maybe we're all passengers on the inside. I had something nice to say. I'm thinking of that blood that you are. I never wandered far. I never set my standards too low. And I never wandered far. And I don't mind, take the lead.
Willkommen to the NLC. We're back
Wow.
and ready to go. What? I can say welcome in German. It's not that hard. Bienvenue à la NLC. There you go. I don't know. That's probably close. Bans! And it's Karthus and Echo, and followed by Hecarim.
Yeah, so I think we've talked enough about it. We don't need to go in depth why that champion has been banned. But let's talk about what champion are they leaving out. And I think they're leaving the Yone out for good reasons that we also just discussed. What, you weren't here to watch the pre-game or the post-game? Well, you know what to do.
What have you been doing?
Yeah, exactly. Wait, are you talking to me?
No.
Or the viewer?
Talking
That
to
guy out there, yeah, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, that guy over there.
Lilia being the ban again, so Yone actually will come through, but the same will Nocturne. So Dusty could be looking on to just first picking the Nocturne here and triple flexing that between top jungle and mid, but not something we've seen Dusty do at all whatsoever. So from my point of view, I think they just pick a standard champion, like the Caitlyn that could have been, like the Udyr, like the Rail or something like that. We also have seen been
Pick the Nocturne. Do it. Dusty, you
banned.
know you want to do it. There's also Rels. There's also the Udyr. There's so many things you can pick. Rel is usually the safest pick because at least you can make sure that you ensure your bot lane is going to be a strong matchup against whatever else Bifrost choose to pick here. And then you give them the first pick and you take the second one. Udyr is doing okay in a Nocturne matchup, but mostly Nocturne is seen in the mid lane. And with Neverlucky's pull, it's definitely a possibility right here. The thing is that Legions has played 2 AD champions back to back, and Nocturne is not a big fan of that. Oh, they're gonna take both. So it is mid lane.
Yeah, AD, mid jungle ADs. I mean, obviously,
Can
he
be
needs a
top.
little bit of AP. He has the Phoenix stance, clearly. Could be top. You are correct. Could be top. But I think, obviously, you lose a little bit of that roam potential if you go top with the Karthus. Let's have a look, though. It's an immediately a Xayah. Xayah's usually a relatively strong response into Karthus. Like any kind of dive, Xayah is very good at negating.
Karthus and Nocturne, both. I think the Karthus is haunting you, Excandrel. But
Sorry,
it's fine.
Nocturne. Yeah, Nocturne.
It's okay,
I mean,
we understand it. It's
we-
been like burned into our memories.
It has.
now.
It's been burnt. My retinas just have like silhouettes of Karthus on either of them. Yeah, but the Mundo comes in. This Mundo is a very, very typical response into Udyr specifically. We see it a lot as like a matchup that tries to keep pace and farm and kind of match in terms of sort of early
There
team
it
fight
is.
presence. There's the Taric though. This is that combo. I believe they played it a lot during the Telia Masters finals. This is a very disgusting combo to play into.
I'd like to see, since they drafted that way, I'd like to see a lot more dive by them. I'd like to see all-in champions. I'd like to see potentially a Kai'Sa that dives the backline together with the Nocturne, together with the Taric ultimate, together with the Udyr. I'd like to see, I was going to say Echo, but obviously it's banned away. I'd like to see any AP mid laner, possibly something like a LeBlanc that can just smash the backline together with them. And all in scenario with the Taric is usually what you want to do, unless your opponents have too much of a hard engage. But so far, Dusty are playing the kiting composition where they just want to protect their Xayah. You only have one ultimate with the Xayah, and there's a lot of invulnerability coming in with the Taric ultimate for Bifrost. So just choose all the dive in the world and go hard.
We'll see the Gnar banned away. Lucian, I think, banned away as well. I mean, I guess they are considering the possibility of a Nocturne top with the Lucian ban here. Unlikely that you'd see Lucian go bot. So, yeah, I think the Gnar, the Malphite coming through here as a ban as well. Let's see how Dusty choose their final ban.
But with those bans coming in, I'm pretty sure that that is going to be Nocturne top. Just because like you're banning out champions that could be a bit of an issue to play out into, and you had that fourth pick yourself. So I mean, you would get counted nonetheless. So you just don't want to give that over. So I think 80s are what you're looking for from the side of from Bifrost right now, and even Seraphine coming in as a ban, which I think can be quite intelligent, because then you'd be probably putting the Seraphine down in bot lane, and they are actually going with the Vayne. So to make up for them having so much AD in their team right now, they go for the Vayne, which is going to have some true damage. You try to neutralize the lane in bot lane because you are playing into Xayah, so this is going to be interesting.
Also, that indicates here that you're gonna have to have a hard dive backline, a potentially AP for the side of Bifrost, because you need that AP damage element in your team if you want to dive the backline. And Vayne is going to stay behind with the Taric, obviously, to have to deal with the Mundo potentially, or even the Rel if they choose to go forward. And then the rest of the backline, the others are going to have to deal with the Zayas and the Orianas and all the shields. Here it's going to be definitely something like a Fang would probably be extremely useful onto the Nocturne, diving the backline. I just really want to see what type of AP champion would have the chance to dive the backline, because right now there is two that come in mind, LeBlanc and Katarina is absolutely unplayable into this team. LeBlanc though wouldn't be too terrible.
I think they might be thinking about a top lane though, just because they. Ooh, that would be spicy.
No.
Just because they waited for the flag pick, and it is going to be an Alawi.
No.
This is
That's crazy.
mental from
That is
Bifrost.
crazy. That's crazy.
I mean,
Ain't that crazy?
that is actually crazy, Gulborg. Like, legit, memes aside, that is actually crazy. This is also a pick that Flaxis played. I don't know if it was this NLC split or the NLC split before, but does anyone remember the Flaxis Alawi game where he basically just had to split push the whole game because you can't do anything else often as Alawi?
So Ilaoi is picked into compositions that want to hard engage you, into compositions that just hard pile onto you. You just open your arms and welcome everyone with your tentacles and basically completely decimate them. We said that from the start. Dusty, since they saw the Nocturne, they've been piling up the peel for the Xayah. They've got the Orianna in the backline. They've got the Mundo. Mundo's not going to start just randomly running in. They've got the peeling with the Renekton in there. They've got the Rel. They're literally going to hold hands around Xayah and keep her alive. No one's going to be running forward, especially when you have a Nocturne ultimate. So I really hope you proves me wrong with that Ilaoi pick, but it just to me just makes absolutely no sense here. No sense at all.
That's the thing. I just want to see how this comp works, because I don't know. So please, Bifrost, indulge me, entertain me. Let me see how this comps work.
Yeah, I think that's all I'm going to have to say as well, because the Alawi pick has definitely thrown a spanner in the works for me. Going to hand it over to our casters. I hope they have more of an idea than maybe I do.
Thank you very much, Scoundrel. Before we get going, your dog asleep on the sofa behind you was adorable. We are getting ready to go into this third game, and I was loving what Bifrost were putting together. And then they slammed that Alawi in, and Trouble Gun hit the nail on the head. Alawi wants you to come in. That team wants to go forward. So I'm curious how this is going to work. Orcs, I'm sure you have a better opinion on this than me, though.
Yeah, it doesn't really fit together with what the rest of the comp's trying to do, but it's kind of an answer to the Mundo and the Renekton, because we saw, the games yesterday, Flaxis and Chillon being massive issues on these two champions specifically. It's like the boys would die, right? And then it would just be the Mundo and Renekton show, and it would be on them to sort of clean up the fight. Now, as much as they have a Vayne, if Vayne ends up dropping, the damage to deal with those two bulky bruisers is kind of limited, and that's where the Alawi comes in. So I guess that's the thought process. I'm not saying I 100% agree with it, but I think maybe they're just thinking, right, if Mundo gets strong, if Renekton gets strong, we need something to deal with them, and that's the kind of answer. The problem is, because they're so heavy in AD, armor itemization is going to be great for Dusty. It's not a massive concern, because obviously, the likes of a Vayne doesn't really care what you're building.
Yeah.
But it still means that they will be able to stack up a ton of resistances, and essentially, Never Lucky isn't really going to be able to deal with Renekton and Mundo too much. But yeah,
sorry, I thought you had something more to say there.
Yeah, I'm just thinking it through. I don't know. I think Orianna makes sense in terms of you want to be able to have that priority, but honestly, I feel like you're just going to kind of be a little bit exposed on the pick. I was thinking something like a Cassiopeia might have been solid. I think the Miasma could have got a ton of value here, but again, she's not too frequently picked in the meta, but I think this would have been a spot where she would have just been great, because the thing is, like, you have the shield for Hoys, you have the Shockwave share, but the Shockwave doesn't really do too much to a Nocturne. Like, he can have a spell shield, you have the Taracle, so we'll have to see how it plays out. Dusty kind of bringing something pretty standard at the table, the sort of thing we'd expect. A lot of just solid picks in the current meta that match up moderately well into what Bifrost has, but Bifrost very much more nuanced with their picks.
Now, we are waiting to get into this game. Unfortunately, we have had a slight delay as ping issues are rearing their heads once again, but we did just get the ready on my screen, so it looks like this game is getting ready to go into game number 3 of this series. And Dusty, convincing game 1, lackluster game 2. but like really convincing game 2 from Bifrost. I think the fact they pulled what was honestly starting to look like a bit of a scary game. It looked like that Karthus pick had finally been dealt with and nullified, and then Bifrost just continually punished Dusty for stupid positioning, and then they took that and translated it into something more, because it's one thing to punish, but it's one thing to punish and then grow with it.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a really solid mid to late game from Bifrost by all means, but that early game is still a concern, and that again might be something that could end up being a problem here. I think there's definitely a lot of momentum available to this composition from Bifrost. You know, you have Vayne, Tarek bot lane, which scales incredibly well. In those earlier levels, could see some issues, especially if Pedersen's able to move about and make an impact like he did in game 2. Now, one thing to note is often Illaoi is sometimes disrespected by players. They don't have experience playing against it. They don't have experience playing it. But this is a scenario where Flaxius is actually really experienced on Illaoi. In fact, I remember back when I was still playing, matching into him in solo queue on Illaoi, and he completely dumpstered our entire team. So that was a bit rough. But, you know, he's been playing Illaoi for a long time, very experienced, very well versed, knows the strengths, knows the weaknesses. And I fully expect Dusty to be very aware of what to do and what not to do up against Illaoi. Because you do see sometimes teams, especially at this level, they meet a pick they haven't played into very much, and they just, you know, fall over in front of it.
Yeah.
I don't expect that to happen here with the Illaoi.
Yeah, I do expect it to be a pick that he will know how to handle in lane. I do much prefer Legions on the Orianna. I don't think the Yone was a particularly impressive game from him. So going back onto a control mage, playing a more supportive role / teamfighty role, less likely to kind of get picked off. He's also into this Nocturne. Nocturne's going to have great lane shove, and obviously if you can get in range and get that fear off, it can get a little bit scary, but Orianna, with the fact that you've got the command dissonance to slow down the phase rush to give you that burst of movement speed, it is quite easy to break from that tether, at least in these earlier stages.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, without Udyr showing up, you should be pretty fine. Unfortunately, you want to get control of the lane. You want to be kind of harassing Nocturne, but just because of how your Q works, you're naturally going to shove as a result. And so you're going to end up forcing it in and be exposed potentially to ganks from the Udyr. Do you see bot lane having priority as expected in this matchup? Mid lane as well, top lane. So across the board, Dusty having lane shoved in means potentially vulnerable to a gank from Tanu, but it does mean Chilm can essentially have a little bit of free reign when it comes to jungle.
Is just clearing downwards at the moment. Both these junglers avoiding each other. I don't think there's any camps for Tanu that will be spawning up anytime soon either, so it's just probably going to be a grab and reset from him once he's full cleared his jungle. We'll see what the action is from there, whether or not he decides to look to try and punish Orianna, because we know, and we've seen so many times, that Orianna, without flash, is really, really susceptible for going down. You can burn that flash before Neverlucky's got his 6. You can then repeat gank at level 6, and it is pretty rough for Legions, so we'll see whether or not they're trying to find kind of any punish there.
One of the things to remember with Illaoi is really vulnerable to ganks, lacking the mobility, and we're seeing that right now.
Yep, gonna get hit by the cleaver, flashes away. They flash in for the follow-up, and Keys, first blood for Chilm.
Really good patience there from Flax, just holding a stun, waited for the flash, flashed after, locked him down before he could really get under the tower, and he's able to kill him. So good start for Dusty. Unfortunately, it isn't Flaxius who gets that kill, but I don't think you're going to complain about that one. Okay, nice replay.
Yeah, we'll just do it again.
Easy as pie, honestly, with Renekton. Very patient with the stun, flashes in to follow and doesn't let him get under the tower. And only one tower shot taken overall.
Yeah, it was like you said, very patient play by Flaxish. And now there's a flashless Illaoi. You're talking about how susceptible you are to getting ganked. Now you haven't got that flash, it gets even harder.
Yeah, and if you look at the lane, is pushing the Flaxius, so Flaxius can just zone. He's away and chill. This is easy setup for return gank.
Yeah, I think are going down, Keys. Locked down, slowed down, gets the spear. Not the spear, the slam from the tentacle, but Flaxish didn't get the first blood, but he did get this one. Now, Legion's going in on a warning mission. It's going to be forced to flash. That's what I was talking about. Meanwhile, in the bot side, Hoy's putting some serious damage into Tide. Bruland as well, getting forced out. Dusty being very proactive on the map, although Legion's burning flash is a bit of a worry.
Yeah, it's a concern, especially when we are going to see the level 6 coming out from Neverlucky in a short amount of time. But ultimately, great return gank from Shield there. The wave was in a really nice spot for it. So now Flaxius is feeling really strong. They are looking for a play bot, but I don't think Tanu can do something here.
Yeah, I think Tanu, he's just going down. Pedersen's the one to get the kill. Maybe not the one you want, but, you know, they get a kill for free.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really have the vision, so I guess he just didn't expect them to be there.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, there's control.
Keys, this is so tragic for him. Does get the Test of Spirit off, but no level 6, so can't get the extended slams down, and that is going to be a bit of a freebie once again. Flaxish 2-0 at 5 minutes. Dusty, they're pretty mad about that last game, and as I say that, Tide and Bruland, every time there's a fight going on in the top lane, Tide and Bruland are just getting bullied by Pedersen and Hoyes.
They just lose a sum now. Ooh, do you see? He did get spotted on that ward. Should
They
be able
got
to
that
back
attract
away.
and repel.
Yeah, it's very hard for the UD to get in there. As Pedersen was the only one who was close, Hoyes has flash. Pedersen can obviously dismount to get a little dash away. But yeah, Chilm doing it, going where he needs to be. And the thing is, it just gets worse and worse because now Keys is even further behind. Flaxius is just recalling now, by the way, with a lot of gold in pocket. Picks up an Executioner, so that healing coming out. Just gone, Tabby, so a lot of your damage cut down as well. This Renekton going to be so strong. And we've seen what it can do in these games.
Yep, and he held his teleport as well. Going to walk back up to the top lane. There are wards in case Dusty need any help on this dragon, and this is just going to be a freebie. Not really got the power to be able to deal with that one.
Especially with that TP being available for the Renekton. You don't want to tango with that Crocodile right now. Jeez. It's a rough spot because you walk up to the Renekton, it's level 7 to level 5.
Yeah,
It's rough.
it's rough right now. It's level 6, so the level lead has gone down by 1. But, I mean, it's items, it's gold, it's just the strength of Flaxish right now. Key still doesn't have flash as well, so if Flaxish can find the minion wave, can actually just double dash onto him and probably kill him at this point, or at least force him low. But they're jumping in, they're looking for that big one-bar combo onto the Orianna. The shockwave onto 2, the attract and repel's pretty big, but with too many members about, it was unfortunately not going to be a play they could make work in their favor. And a nice turnaround there for Bifrost. Legion's burning his flash earlier meant he was susceptible to that gank.
And it's frustrating because I think Pedersen did everything he could. He was there waiting for the play, lands the CC, just wasn't enough. Doesn't have that level 6, the Magnet... What's it called again?
Magnet Storm.
Magnet Storm, there we go. Doesn't have the Magnet Storm to kind of lock everyone down for a little bit longer, and so they get the kill and get out, which just shows the power of this diving combo for Taric Nocturne. And this is definitely the point of the map. Bifrost is looking to punish his mid lane. Question is, when you look at the sorry state of top lane and even the advantage to gain top, is it going to be enough?
Is the question. They are going to take this Rift Herald here in the top side of the map. They could use it to take out this tower, to be honest. They get a good dive off, but I think Flaxish half health. He's got that level 6 mark. You probably don't really want to tower dive him, even if he is pretty weak right now. Tower diving him probably a pretty good way to get him back into the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's a window when the Nocturne Paranoia is down, but as soon as that's back up, you just can't go for the play.
Keith can't even deal with the Test of Spirit. Flaxish able to trade back onto him. Does take a tower shot for his troubles, but he's okay on that front.
Do you have to be careful, though? I mean, Keys is trading here, but the lower you get, the more vulnerable you are to a dive. And
Yeah, I mean, Flax is just going to jump in. He's got the Dominus, and that is a freebie. Can't even get the Leap of Faith off in time.
By the way, that was 176 gold for that kill. Keys
my
not
lord.
worth much at the moment. So, I mean, that's a small consolation. They don't get a ton of gold there, but this is now 2 plates from death. Could have thrown the Herald down just to get that tower there, but opting not to. Instead, want to potentially put gold on some of the people on the team. And I think a critical thing as well is why take the tower?
Yeah, you want to extend the laning phase.
Yeah, because Keys is not having a fun time, and just keep it this way. You know, if you look at the way the wave is now, the the incoming wave for Keys is going to pull up. It's going to push out towards Dusty, and that means Keys is once again going to have to overextend. And as much as he's not worth a ton of gold right now, keeping him out of the game is very relevant. I mean, look at that gold difference. And the thing is,
Oh
it's
my
not
Lord.
just the fact that the advantage is coming in for Flaxius, but Cheelm is also getting pretty fed up this.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big Mundo already. 4,000 gold to Tanu, who's got 3,000.
Only they had a champion who could deal with Mundo. Like something like an Alawi? Oh, wait. In fairness, have a Vayne.
Vayne can deal with it, but, you know, they are struggling in this lane as well. Down a little bit in the CS department, and if Cheelm decides to come over and maybe look for a little something in this bot lane, they could extend this gold lead to a more dangerous state for them. We'll see where they decide to go for it as a Test of Spirit once again, going to go wide onto Flaxish. I'm curious to see where this Herald's going down. We got plates up for another 3 minutes. And Keys, I think you're stepping up quite deep there, mate. There's a great dodge away behind the minions to dodge out. And Flaxish may just find himself a kill onto Keys, forces the leap of faith. And actually, that's a lot of damage out by Keys. Tries to get this slam down, and Flaxish has to flash away.
Yeah, you can see Flaxius, as soon as the ult got burned, he was trying to disengage, but you already dashed in. Not too many options other than the flash. Now Keys has to be careful. No ult, and Flaxius has his, so he very much can just pop you right now if he really wants to.
Flaxish does have the Dominus, so if Keys flashes in and Flaxish is quick on that trigger, he'll be okay.
I mean, yeah, I think Flaxius, like, without ultimate, Keys isn't nearly as much of a threat. And you can see all of Bifrost leading towards bot side. Legions should have enough protection here. I'm still concerned with the Nocturne about, but looks like a fight is breaking out here.
Yeah, they're jumping in. They've got the magnet wave off already. Here's the paranoia. Great ulti comes out from Brulin. They actually just to jump onto the backline, but the Feather Storm gets used. The flash back by Hoyd, and he finds the kill. 1 versus 2. Here comes the backup. Here they come. Ty trying to get away. Ty does get a pop back to safety as the Dazzle connects onto members, but the health bars are too low, and Flaxish is just going to jump in forward. Everyone on Bifrost is getting cut down. Tide free firing away though onto a couple of members, and now Legion's going a little bit too low. The Rift Herald's going to get summoned. Tide,
beautiful.
You're in trouble. You're going down. Poise is the one who's gifted the kill. Rift Herald's going to gift a lot of gold to a lot of members.
Hey, even split. Everyone got some gold there. That sharing is caring. Put out from Dusty, but just a really positive play. They used the TP on the Necton to fly in and get a massive advantage, but all of the team played that well. That initial combo, you know, Bifrost want to be going in. They don't want to be on the defensive there. They don't want to have to use the Nocturne, sorry, the Tarakult defensively. I'll get a replay, so nice engagement, Pedersen, the lockdown's there, and you can see the decision from the Nocturne is to go for the Xayah on the bot side, which I actually respect the decision, but Poise plays this perfectly in the air, gets the recall like before the Fear actually connects, so gets the kill, and Tide also gets chunked, and now just this cleanup. So many tanky members, they don't even care that the tower is there, and realistically, Tide is not at the point where you can cut through them. Tanu just doesn't have the damage. You know, Brulen's a support. There's no way they're making it out of this one.
Yeah, the ulti was already used in the initial fight, so
you know what's the
no
consolation prize
survivability
here?
to them.
Keys wasn't there to die, so there's the consolation prize.
He's got his Divine Sunderer.
How crazy is it that he's the one who's got a completed item on this team?
Yeah, that is actually what? How? I mean,
he
he's
has been
actually only
farming up.
400 gold ahead of Tide. Wait, he's 400 gold ahead of Tide. Okay.
I mean, essentially, Tide hasn't got any kills, and Keys has more farm, so even though it is marginal.
It's just for me the fact, real props to Keys here. He is 0-4. He has been really camped. And for him to actually be technically up at the moment, but that won't be the case after this wave, but
yeah,
for him to actually, you know, be farming really well is actually a real nod to him. Now, Flaxish obviously is disgustingly strong right now, though.
A big thing is the fact that Flaxish TP down. Like, Keys stayed top. He got a ton of farm on the back of that. So, like, that really got him back in terms of, like, get his CS up. But he's still monstrously behind. And in fairness, there's very little you can do in a situation. If the enemy jungler just wants to make your life hell as a top laner, I'm sure a lot of top lane mains will agree. Limited options. I do think pick and allow it doesn't lend itself to that situation. But either way, it's just a waiting game. There's a lot of scaling aspects. Oh,
Flaxish, I think he actually just wins this one straight up. 1 versus 2. Gets himself the solo kill onto Keys.
220 gold, bit more than last time. That farm didn't work to me.
It was a tactical teleport. Okay, so Flaxish was letting him build up his bounty again.
Exactly. Perfect play.
Man,
Well, now...
Flaxish is so big brain.
Yeah, they don't even need the Herald here. This tower's low enough from before. And Dusty, even game 2 that they lost, the early game from Dusty has been convincing. BIFROST have been able to bring it back mid to late, but the early game all throughout this series has been strong for Dusty, and they just need to continue it. They can't make the same mistakes as last time. Oversteps, misplays, people being out of position will be punished by this Nocturne, especially with the Taric to back it up. But if Dusty continue this rate, they are so far ahead, 6k gold lead, 2 dragons to none. This should be a game they can close out.
But I do think this game also, even if it does move on and they do, BIFROST keep themselves relevant, I think this end does just get hard. When you're looking at what they want to be doing, and with the fact that Flaxish is unlocked, now he's just, he's going to be able to offer way more than what Keys is going to be able to offer. Keys needed to win lane to be relevant here. They are looking to jump in with a Paranoia on 2-1, but the flash comes out, and now Tanu and Brulun are getting caught in. The Cosmic Radiance is coming down as they get themselves a kill before it can go pop. Brulun being chased, Brulun going down. It's a beautiful little double kill for Hoys. Throws out the Featherstorm as well to send Neverlucky packing. Riftel's going to get summoned, and Dusty may just look for 2 charges. They may just look for 2 towers here.
They could even get 3, maybe.
Given it.
Honestly, in this position, they could potentially go for 3. Like, there's not great wave clear from BIFROST, so if they fall behind, they're really going to struggle.
Yeah, Cannon is tanking the tower, but
Okay, they don't even get the 2. They get the 2 charges. Maybe I overhyped it. I'm sorry, Jake.
I think Keys and Neverlucky had enough wave clear. I'm not gonna lie, I'm lagging real hard, so
Okay.
I didn't see where the wave went. It just disappeared on my screen.
Yeah, Nocturne did a pretty good job of just clearing through that, and Keys as well with the slam. But still, they get the tower, they get the second charge, and I think the big thing there from Dusty was they look to challenge BIFROST. Instead of waiting for the engage to come out from them, they are the ones sort of going for the aggressive initiation, and Hoy's got the beautiful combo. Gale falls forwards, ult to get out again and not taking any tower hits. Some really solid play, and now the lead is just getting bigger and bigger. 7,000 dragon spawning in 30, and Jake, it is an Ocean Soul. You have a Fed Renekton, you have a Mundo who's looking pretty thick. They get
also,
Ocean Soul, it's just so doomed.
It's like you go for that big burst play onto Legions, and if he can just initially survive it, the Ocean Soul will bring him back up. And you just don't get the option if you're Neverlucky, because you're getting chunked out by Flaxish. Keys is going to use the Tessa Spirit just to pull Legion's Spirit out. But just a little bit of damage, marginal amount of damage. And it's on to Dragon.
Nocturne is living up to his namesake, because this is feeling like a Neverlucky game. Dragon just going to get secured by Dusty here. Again, 3rd in pocket, massive lead for them. This is looking like a very good game for Dusty. Even better than game 1.
Yeah.
Again, we've seen them make mistakes before. They can't let the momentum up. Baron is spawned in a minute and a half. They want control of that area. They want to pick up the Ocean Soul up for Dragons. And the thing I'm concerned about is the path that Nocturne if someone's isolated. Now, Tide.
Oh, I mean, Flaxish is feeling himself a little bit too much there. Gets condemned, gets popped by Tide. Teleport was used in the meantime, and actually multiple members are making their way over. Neverlucky teleported in for the play. And Dusty, they're looking for it. Chelm has popped himself the ulti. Hoyes is going to jump forward with the Gale Force. Brulun's Cosmic Radiance is going to keep Tide alive for a little bit, but that is one very, very fast Mundo. Tide able to tumble to safety.
Still, very favorable play for BIFROST. Flash is going over-aggressive by himself, didn't respect BIFROST there, and he gives over an 800 gold bounty to the Vayne. Now, this Vayne still only has 1 item, but you look at it now, 7.3k gold, only just over 1,000 behind the most fed members on the side of the Dusty. I'm not saying it's going to be enough, but mistakes like these are what let BIFROST get back into the game. Didn't even have a completed item, now has a Kraken Slayer and that Last Whisper.
And that's one of the ways to kill these tanks. Get some armor penetration.
Yeah, more true damage for Vayne and armor penetration goes a pretty long way, I would definitely say. Do you want to see someone picking up some Grievous Wounds, though? Especially considering the fact that it could be an Ocean Soul in 3 minutes. Obviously, an ideal world is not an Ocean Soul for Dusty in 3 minutes, but there's already a ton of healing available to the frontliners, so some healing reduction would be nice. Especially as there isn't even an ignite on the side of Bifrost.
I do hope when we get the Mundo rework that they keep the cleaver. I assume they will, because it's kind of like key to him. But I do hope with the
They'll make
TPA
it
skin.
targeted, and if you hit 2 in a row, it stuns for 3 seconds. Also,
I
when
just
he
hope
presses his ult, he can dash every 2 seconds.
his W is a dash when he's ulting.
His cleaver is a dash.
Oh no, it's a Gale Force.
Everything's a dash.
I just hope they keep the funk on that skin. The sound of that of the trophy slamming is just such a good sound.
People will be irate if they change them. Briefcase one as well is iconic.
Yeah, the briefcase one is iconic, but it's that trophy
And-
funk. You get it on the Jack skin as well. I think
Yeah.
Mundo Q and Jack's like third auto from the TPA skins are just like the most satisfying sounds in the game. Listen to that. Okay, he's not going to cleaver now. No, he's just got flash.
They can gain.
Oh, that's a big combo! They're just blown apart! Shockwave lands in. That is not going to be enough tentacles to win this fight.
Definitely not. A lot of tentacles, not enough though. Dusty managed to clean up with a beautiful combo coming out with Pedersen being the lead. And the Alawi too far behind really to do anything. That's just going to be Baron secured. No flash for Tanu. Last comes up. I think someone should pick that up in all honesty, but realistically, I don't think it matters. Baron secured for Dusty. I said Baron was coming up. I said you want to be moving up on this momentum, and they find it. Dragon in a minute and a half. A Soul. They're looking really good. And we get the replay. This combo coming in from Pedersen. Beautiful. Showing the strength of Rel. The Featherstorm just to follow up. And although Tanu escapes, Keys just gets caught in the mix and destroyed.
They are just getting blown up so fast. It's actually crazy. Baron Recall coming in for Flaxish. He's going to find Tanu. Tanu's going to try and do damage to him, but now Flaxish getting jumped onto by multiple members. Dodging when the Dazzle was Pedersen's making his way over. They're trying to keep him alive. The Shockwave lands onto a couple of members. They do kill Flaxish, but everybody else is so low. Bruland not going to find himself. The Dazzle and Chelm is chasing Tide down. Tide on the run, but that is one very quick, Mundo. You can condemn one member, but you can't condemn anymore. The Dazzle will not connect in time, and they are jumping after the Taric. Gems are outrageous.
Decimation at this point. Bifrost managed to find a kill, but again, it just doesn't mean much overall. Even doesn't quite connect with Keys. I'd be careful about taking that one.
Oh, I don't know who's going to win this. I think
I
Keys
know
is
who's gonna win
going to be able to get out, but he gets the slams off, tries to get the heal. Nope, ace, don't worry.
Yeah, Mundo does as he pleases. 0-7-0 and the Alawi. Desco unsure how this one was going to pan out. I would definitely say that has not gone well for the side of Keys. Inhibitor going to go down, and then they're going to push back and pick up that Ocean Soul in 15 seconds. Already feels like the Mundo is extremely difficult to take down, and this is just going to make it almost impossible. You can see pings coming out. Bifrost don't want to let this go. This might be the last chance to take a fight. Dusty are sitting on a lot of gold. They are a little bit low on health. There is a flash available for Tanu. If he can steal this, still feeling rough for Chilm just chasing Brulan down.
Well, they're going to look for that Cosmic Radiance combo. A great Feather Storm into that Shockwave, and the interruption is just too big. Legions zoned away, but it's not going to matter as Tide comes in. Tide's exhausted.
Oh, no.
Double kill picked up as Tide is popped. They don't even need the Dragon to end this one. Only Keys is alive.
Yeah, I mean, Bifrost had to go for the fight there. If you didn't get the soul, the game was over anyway. 0-8-0 for the Alawi at the end of the game. Ace for Dusty, and a convincing win from start to finish puts them at 2-1 in the series. One game away from securing their spot in the NLC.
And it was a quick win. It was a very, very quick and very convincing win here for Legions and the rest of Dusty. I don't know why I said Legions. 24 minutes on the clock. We're going to game number 4. Dusty, 1 off, taking it.
And critically, Jake, one game away from potentially having another Legions interview. So, you know, I know.
That was why I voted for them, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, Bifrost had a pretty wild composition. There were some aspects I liked. There's some aspects I'm a bit unsure about. Realistically, I don't think the composition was necessarily to blame entirely. There were aspects where you ask yourself, maybe they could have had, you know, more priority on the side lanes. Top lane had an issue. Bot lane had an issue. Kind of felt like they were waiting for too many scaling elements. And the big issue right now for Bifrost is their early game. you need a way to viably play through a lane in the early game. You need to find some success, because right now it kind of feels like they're on the back burner. They're like, let's wait till Dusty mess up late in the game, and in that game they just didn't. And I don't think that's a good game plan.
What was it you were doing in the break of the last game? I think it's Man Bundo. I think that might be the plan going into game number 4. Guys, we're going to throw in a quick break. And when we're back, we'll be back with the analyst desk to talk.
Waking up, the sun is rising. We can go anywhere, do anything. Put your hand in my hand, let's explore. Travel places no one's been before. Leave your fears and hear you calling. Wherever you go, wherever you are, the beauty's unique. The melody's so sweet. Our differences make our union so great. Together we perfect harmony. Perfect harmony. Together we will be perfect harmony. Let's get lost in a forest of green. Lose ourselves in the blue of the sea. Paint the world any color we choose, or a rainbow with all of the hues. Make the world the way that we dream. Wherever you go, wherever you are, the beauty's unique. The melody's so sweet. Our differences make our union so great. Together we perfect harmony. Perfect harmony.
Welcome back, everybody. We are into our fourth game now, and Dusty managed to kind of steady the ship in the third game of the series here and actually come back swinging after a relatively disappointing second game for them. But let's be quite honest. There is one scoreline that is very clearly sticking out of all of that. And Gulborg, has your question been answered?
Yeah, I said that I don't see how it's gonna work. I wanted them to show me, and they just confirmed for me that my theory was in fact correct, that you could not really play that composition. And maybe they never got the chance to really do it, because I swear 6 minutes into the game, Dusty was 2k ahead. And it was just like, all right, guys, we don't have any winning lanes. We're just falling behind. We don't know what we're doing. And they had some successful skirmishes where it actually worked with the Nocturne comp in the mid lane, but they put everything in it to make that work. And we should not able to replicate it again. I thought that game was really clean by Dusty. They were able to close it out, but I also think they had an easy time doing it from the get-go.
And I understand, I get it. You want to play a specific matchup. You want to play the Illaoi into the Renekton comes at you, you smack him down with the tentacles. It's not going to be a fair fight. You knew from the start it's not going to be a fair fight. This is not solo queue. You don't just get to run down your opponent top laner. You usually don't get to dive as Mundo on Renekton, but Keys was overextended every single time. He didn't have jungler on his side. His lane was frozen. Wave management was very poor, and it was handled very well by Flaxis and Chilm on the other side as well. And that actually became a problem because, like Gulborg said, he dies once, he TPs, he dies twice, he dies 3 times, and I think by minute 10 he had died 4 times. And up to that point, you're like, I think we should go next, because the only way the Illaoi could do anything in this game is if she gets uber fed, because she doesn't work with our comp, so 2, she needs to get fed for the champion itself to work.
Yeah, I think realistically you hit the nail on the head, and they turbo camped the Illaoi for a good reason, and it worked out well. Let's take a look at the clip that we have highlighted for this game then. Trouble, I'm reining you in once more, so let's run through our play of the match.
All right, so I'm just going to show you right here, Dusty are all in this area. They're doing Baron. BIFROST have absolutely no clue what's going on. Their top laner has TP, and this is where the Illaoi comes in. And they're like, this is perfect, right? In a perfect world, Illaoi TP's right here, and you've got Hoist coming in, Legion's coming in, Chilm coming in, Pedersen is already in here, the teleport is coming in. Look at all these arrows. They all literally are landing here where the Illaoi drops, and she's like, this is the perfect opportunity for ultimate. Counter gets caught. The ADC is already gone before the fight even starts. And right there, wait, what? Hold on. Let's see this again. The teleport will arrive. Everyone here gets deleted, and the Keys is like, this is my time to shine. Pops on the ultimate, 3 ticks, and he's gone. And this is why it's so important that this pick actually worked in the early game. This pick got ahead because Dusty were able to do this to Illaoi. Had this Illaoi been even this entire time, this run at her would not have worked. Having 5 people under an Illaoi ultimate is the ultimate death trap. Then you see why it just didn't work. No one even got damaged. Hoist didn't even, he didn't even blink. He had his ultimate, he has his flash, he had his exhaust, he had everything on him. So it was just really rough to see.
It was, and I think it was a wild draft. Bifrost kind of known for their wild drafts, right? Bifrost came into the Telia Masters finals. They took Galaxy Racer by surprise. But as Gulborg correctly stated right at the start of the show, like, have people just figured them out now? I think actually one of you. I'm just saying Gulborg, but
it is Gulborg.
Okay.
You're correct.
Okay, yeah. Sometimes I say that, I'm just automatically default to Gulborg, and I'm like, actually, wait, Trouble might have said that.
All the correct stuff, it's Gulborg.
All the both of you are always correct.
Stop.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Anyway, so yes, we obviously have another game coming up. We want to make sure that the things are kind of steadied a little bit here for Game 4 for Bifrost. What has worked for them? And so briefly, before we go to the break, for this 4th draft, what has actually worked for them, and what do they need to aim for in this next draft?
All right, so the one game they won, yes, they had the Karthus. They're not getting that again, and it's going to be hard to replicate what you get out of the Karthus. But even the game you won with Karthus, it was probably the most simple game. You had Malphite top, you had the jungler, obviously, put Lillian instead, if that's what you want with the AP. You had a Lucian mid with almost infinite prio, and you had a bot lane to play for. just make that work. Don't get complicated with this kind of draft. Just play your game.
I think Flaxis has been running away with it a little bit more than he should at this point. So I'm thinking that I'm siding with Gulbok right here. Put keys on all Malphite duty. It can't go wrong. You're going to be frontline. You're going to have so much value later on. And we saw how well Tide can pop off in the late game once you facilitate for him. So play the weak side. Play on a champion that doesn't get stomped in lane if something goes wrong, that goes full tank later on and provides that hard engage for your team.
All right, well, let's see if that is the strategy that they choose to employ. They have one game to make a difference at this point in time. Otherwise, Dusty will find themselves back in the NLC with a 3-1 scoreline. We'll see. We'll go to a quick break and we'll be back soon. Hopefully heading into draft soon for our 4th game of the series. I kind of want to chat a little bit again and a bit more about what we can see from Bifrost this time around, because Dusty seems to have got that formula correct. Is it as simple as like legit just putting keys on something more like weak side and playing around your strong kind of bot mid?
Is it going to win you the game that you just create a simple draft? No, of course it's not going to do that, or else everyone would just be doing it. But is it going to make it easier for you to actually play around in a game where the style can get so chaotic out of nowhere, skirmishes just happen, you even opt into skirmishes yourself? Yeah, that becomes kind of hard to play, and that's why simple is good for you, because it makes what you want to do easier on the Rift. It is easier to create and know your boundaries on literally front to back composition, and we know they've been good around playing in pressure. We know the jungle mid synergy duo from the side of Bifrost is really good at creating this pressure. What do they do with said pressure? Well, they apply it to the bot side. And why can you apply it to the bot side? Because top lane is weak side, so you don't have to worry about not having any resources for that top laner. So that is why, you know, simple is best for this composition. Had they had an insane top laner and bad AD carry, or not bad AD carry, but AD carry who's not able to pull off the carry picks right now, then I'd probably say, you know what, let's play for this top lane. Let's go for that. Like, had it been Nilif, for example, and you had someone like who's a really good weak side AD carry we had? I can't remember. But what I'm saying is that there's just multiple styles.
At this point, I want to say that the teams sometimes have not necessarily found stylistically how they want to play. So it could be a conflict between Keys really wanting to carry, but his playstyle not fitting exactly how the team should be playing. Because so far, it's been looking like this. Every time Keys is on a carry, like the team cannot seem to be able to play around it. The jungle doesn't play for top side because he has to play for bot side, and he has synergy with mid lane. So there's like a lot of conflicted opinions, a lot of conflicted calls right there that just doesn't benefit the team. And it feels like if you stick to the easy to execute compositions like Gobok has been saying over and over again, which is true, when you take the difficulty factor of executing your comp, then you can focus on how you play the lane, the game macro-wise. And this is just going to make it much easier. I like the insta Caitlyn right here. Very easy jungle to play, such as Olaf can run you down. So now have priority in the bot lane, have priority in the mid lane, and have the Olaf sort of surrounding that bot side of the map section.
It's just going to open up for champions like the Mundo as well to just come in again here, I'd say, or even the Udyr, even though it doesn't work too good against the Olaf in an individual duel, but still a pick that's going to have a lot of individual dueling across the map with his fast clear as well with other champions that is not Olaf. And you can clearly tell Dusty now with the picks that they've gone through, they want to play for that bot lane as well. And you know what, you want to play for bot lane, Twisted Fate might be a really good character to apply set pressure down in bot lane. But no, I'm getting baited. It's going to be the Udyr I also talked about, so I'm not gonna go down.
Oh
It's
yes,
Caitlyn
baby.
Morgana.
That's what we want to see. I've been waiting for the Morgana locking together with the Caitlyn for so long, and here is just so good. What's that? Udyr running towards you, bind. What's that? Udyr managed to somehow U-turn the bind, shield. There's no stun that's gonna go down. He's just so strong right here, especially with hooks coming in. There's feathers, there's hooks. You can misposition the Thresh and the Zarya really easily by putting the pool on the floor. And one bind will result into a trap, will result in a lot of pain if you get caught by any of the CC between the Caitlyn and the Morgana. And it's also one of the quote-unquote safer lanes when it comes to ganking, when you don't necessarily have really heavy CC when you gank, something like a Jarvan, the Flag and Drag, and then you just have to run at them or have to hit a hook. So I do really like the adaptation right here for Bifrost, taking the Morgana down bot lane. Now what they need to care about is that backline dive, because the front line looks pretty good for Dusty, but so far it's we're running at you, whatever we can pick we will kill, but you need to generally reach the backline with where the Caitlyn is, and I do like the Bruiser bands right there.
I was gonna say all those bans right now from Bifrost screams nah, like that.
Yeah,
like, we want to play nah, so we're banning these champions.
Oh,
I
was
think
it a bait?
That's the thing, right? I think it's a good read from Dusty as well.
Yes.
And
Yes.
there we get Yon coming into it. So if that is a strategy from a drafting perspective, where you want to bait out specific bans from your opponent, that could be really smart, because you're still banning out threats to Yon at the same time. Meanwhile, you're banning out a champion that would be decent into the Yon. So I like that what we're seeing right now from Bifrost. The adaptations are good. And I talked about I wanted mid lane priority. Well, we've even saved that last pick for Never Lucky in the mid lane.
Honestly, that's actually five-head. You banned the Camille and you banned the Aurelia. The insta-ban reply from Dusty would have been the Na, but Na is also a counter to Ornn. Ornn does suffer versus Na, and later on, he does provide the engage as well. So I felt like all this was sort of like a plot to make Dusty ban their own Na. Now, don't get me wrong, Gangplank is a really, really strong top lane as well and does match the Ornn pretty well. He has a lot of HP region with his orange too. So these both of these guys will just be throwing literally noodles at each other until Gangplank is to a point where he can sort of deal with the backline with the ultimate and the barrels. But again, the thing is, I'm just not necessarily seeing hard engage for Dusty here. It's sort of like you running back and BIFROST running at you. And looking at the BIFROST composition, it's not necessarily a bad thing because they literally want to run you down. All you do is Kai back. Yeah.
Oh, okay. The Ahri gets locked in for Never Lucky. If you are wondering why I'm constantly looking behind me, it's because I have got a ghost in the house. Sorry, guys. Yeah, okay. Ahri getting locked in for Never Lucky here again, expanding that increasing champion ocean that we've seen him run with. These are the two comps then. This means everything for BIFROST. If they lose out here, they lose their NLC spot. Well, no, they don't know they had one in the first place, but they lose their chance at the NLC spot. And if Dusty win, they will find themselves back in the NLC following. So what do we think of these two comps? Who comes out ahead, do you think, just based on draft?
I actually think BIFROST has a good amount of possibilities to play their compositions. They play well when they want to run at people. Ahri got good gap closure. If Olaf as well, the Ornn to start it all off. At the same time, you want to kite back. Ahri is really good for that. 90 caliber net, bindings, traps. Like, there's a lot of tools right now for BIFROST to play their composition. I think they can make this work.
The thing that why I like Gangplank right here is because the second the Ornn, the Olaf, and the Ahri are going to start running in, you put down the ultimate, and then you sort of split the Caitlyn and Morgana away from their triple front line. So that could create some opportunity right there for the Xayah Feathers to lock people down into a shockwave. I think that's the chance to win the game. Other than that, I do feel that BIFROST have a really, really good composition this time and very easy to execute.
I always feel like Gangplank is the soft version of Zyra's support. Do you remember when Olaf used to be super meta and then Zyra's support was picked into him? Because whenever Olaf ran at you, just dropped the Zyra ultimate. You were like, okay, follow up on your Olaf, please. And then everybody would walk over the Zyra ultimate or not. You know, always feel like Gangplank's like the soft version of that into Olaf. But look, it is a fourth game in the series. We've had to Dusty need one win to get back into the NLC. BIFROST need to keep their chances alive with a win here. Also, we'll see how it goes down.
That's right. Dusty are one win away from making it back into the NLC and one win away from me getting dinner. Let's find out whether or not they're going to be able to do it, or if BIFROST are going to be able to push it into Game 5 and keep their dreams alive. They are only 2 wins away from qualifying, and if they do qualify, then we have 2 new teams joining us into summer of the NLC, which is great, like genuinely great.
Yeah, I mean, can't complain about that, and I think having an opportunity to see new teams is good, but you know, personally, and it's not just because I was written a nice comment in the pre-game chat, I'm kind of vibing with Dusty right now. But looking at the compositions here, definitely better for BIFROST by all means, but I still have some concerns, and one of them is the fact that I look at a lot of their carries, I look at the Ahri, I look at the Caitlyn, I look at the Olaf. If they fall behind, they're really going to struggle. And I mean, I know that's a typical thing. Yes, you know, when carriers fall behind, it's difficult, but those champions really don't amount to much. Ahri lacking damage. Obviously, the CC is a big aspect, but if she falls behind, she's going to struggle to burst anyone. Olaf is very underwhelming behind, and Caitlyn will be waiting a long time to scale up. So they need to have a strong early game. They have better tools to have a strong early game in this game by far. The bot lane should be winning. Ahri can shove pretty effectively in mid. But if they mess it up, if they have a rough time, I am very concerned, and they may be looking to scale incredibly late into the game, and that doesn't even necessarily favor them because Gangplank, Orianna, Xayah scale incredibly well.
Hold on. It looks like BIFROST are going for a invade, but they will be spotted out. The Scryers warm out as well, so they know this is happening. Just be a split map this way. And actually, I think that's kind of okay for BIFROST. You've got the Morgana Caitlyn. You kind of want to be playing really pressured up in this lane, so having a split map means that Udyr can't really come in and help too much. So have to see how that turns out for them now off the back of that invade.
I think it's a good one to take when you want to be able to play around your bot lane, because I think they should play for Tide and Bruland. We saw, well, one of the big criticisms I had in the last game was there wasn't really a lane to play through. You wanted to give attention to the Illaoi, it didn't happen. You wanted to give attention to the Vayne and the Taric, but realistically, it couldn't amount to much. They were never going to find favor in that lane. Caitlyn Morg is a lane you can definitely play through, especially into this matchup. And really nice decision from Panu there as well. Doesn't clear up the chickens. And this is really going to hurt Chilm's early game.
Yeah, the question is Chilm actually going to go for the cross map himself? He's done a full blue side clear, and yep, is moving up through that. So Chilm will be taking away Tanu's jungle. The question is how much is he going to take? Is he going to fully clear his jungle here? Or is he just going to take the 2 camps and get out?
I think you should. You have priority in your lanes, so you know they're going to be able to move to you first. You are getting a little bit low, but you do have a smite available, nearly 2, so that should help you sustain up. He does fully clear, and that's the difference, though. Chilm's jungle isn't going to respawn, because obviously Tanu's left the Raptors up. You need to use your smite at some point there.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Very hesitant to throw that one down.
So I think it's going to be a situation where we won't feel the difference necessarily now, but he's coming in.
Nice hook, instantly flashed out by Tide. He's ignited and pretty low. Same for Pedersen, but the flash from the Caitlyn, a lovely trade. As please will take a pilt over Peacemaker on the response. And Chilm does not decide to go for the Krugs as well. Is going to leave that up.
A little bit disrespectful there. No Black Shield leveled by Bruland at level 2, who'd gone instead for the pool and the binding. And as a result, when the hook connects on Pedersen, they're able to punish. Oh, Legion's maybe in trouble here.
Does have that cleanse. If he can dodge away on the charm, may not even have to use it. Able to dodge out. It holds his flash as well. Legion's playing very, very close to the wire, but holds his summoner spells ultimately and goes for a reset.
That was very close on that one. Should be able to reset and doesn't have TP. That's the critical thing here.
Oh, they got the lantern. They got the flash. They're following up. The bear stance is going to get cancelled out momentarily, but it's just a switcheroo onto Brulin. First blood to Hoys.
Yeah, I mean, Brulin. Oh,
is Legion's not getting the opportunity to base here?
That's a huge wave to miss out. This is really punishing.
No flash as well onto Legions. They are bringing up their Udyr. And Chilm, he has got that flash, to be fair.
Yeah,
but
I don't think you get anything. Basically, you're just trying to help Legions pick the wave because super punishing to miss out on that one. Play goes down, but no one actually got the gold from that. And Chilm's going to help with the reset. If this had been TP for Legions, he would have just been able to back off, reset, TP back in. Unfortunately, he didn't, and did actually end up burning the flash and cleanser. I believe Neverlucky flashed in for the charm to burn both of those. So a lot of pressure put down mid from Panu, showing the importance of having that mid priority, but punished on the bot side. Bruland flashed the spell shield, his AD carry, and unfortunately that cost the life of Morgana. And Hoys was the one to pick up the kill.
That was a really nice little gang there. They are potentially looking for a little something again.
Thing is, Kate Morg is a very momentum-based lane. You want to be ahead, you want to be pushing in, you want to be able to threaten, and when you happen to play defensive, the Black Shield doesn't hold up as well. Because, you know, you're throwing it down whenever Pedersen throws a hook, but then as soon as the Black Shield's down, you can just walk up and play. So really, I want to see Tano putting some more attention onto this bot lane. I need to see Tide and Bruland pulling ahead in the 2v2.
They did actually just get full tracking on Chilm. They placed the pink in that bush, but Bruland knows they're there. This is a pretty greedy way for him to go. And the attention is on this dragon, an early dragon for Dusty. They've been prioritizing those for the entirety of the season. They've got the pressure in the mid and in the bot to be able to pick this one up. So it's just a freebie for Dusty. Nothing lost.
We'll take the dragon secure in that situation. Oh, how connecting. They're going for this.
Oh, they are. They've got the ignite. That's the bear stance. There's the follow-up. Hoys gets his second kill. Chilm not going to get caught out by the trap. And Tanu will get himself a Rift Herald. Lisa Crab, sorry, in the response as Legions gets chunked out. Neverlucky used that Spirit Rush forward. Use the level advantage to get a big chunk out of Legion's health bar. And Legion's is having a really, really rough game 4. And Tanu's in the area. Legion's has to be so careful. Tanu doesn't have 6, but Shockwave just to clear out the wave. Legion's out of mana. Gonna try and use the fancy dancing as he flashes. The cannon barrage is coming in. Underneath the tower they go. Chilm has got the flash and he is following up. Tanu is gonna get cooked. He's got another bear stance. Neverlucky, no flash, no spirit rush. This just went from good to bad really quickly. And speaking of which, Tide, the Black Shield's a little bit too late. So they do get the hook off, but not gonna be able to get it through in time.
So Pedersen thinking about it. I mean, just a great gangplank ult there to slow them under the tower. essentially serving similar to the Karthus. When we see those dives coming out with the Karthus, that's the issue, is that you have that Requiem coming down. But the game plan called slowing them down and making them take extra tower hits. Oh, Flaxius.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of damage here. Does have himself the orange and walks back into the pillar for some reason as he gets a nice little barrel chain off. One auto, one flash, one Q. And, wow, okay.
I'm not sure why you flashed there. I'm not sure why you flashed.
Just look at his inventory. Yeah, biscuits. Eat your damn pots, people.
Happens. Well, that was something going in favor of Bifrost, by all means. We've had so much action in these games, it's hard to keep track. But ultimately, great turnaround mid. Shield able to pick up 2 kills. Really favorable for that jungle matchup, pulling him essentially ahead of Tano despite the CS discrepancy. We're going to get some replays, we can break it down. Yeah, so 3 biscuits in inventory. He did use 1, so probably better that he didn't use more. Otherwise, obviously, they'd be wasted. But yeah, we don't get time for replays in this game.
Yep, Tanu's found Flaxish. Flaxish gonna get a bit of damage off, but he is going low, although almost turns it back around. Chel's making his way over.
Yeah,
honestly, if Tanu hadn't got ult, I actually think Flaxish would have been okay there.
Not just that, if Tide hadn't ulted, yeah.
Yeah,
for
well,
sure. I think he would have won the 1v1. Unfortunately, Flash is TPing back up just to die. Not exactly ideal. And now Keys does have his TP, but Hilm is looking to chase down Tide. Tide has Flash, should be able to get out of this one no matter what. And the Black Shield. Oh, they're going in.
They are going in. They've got themselves the damage. Brulin's only level 4. He is melting right now. Tanu ultless finds Pedersen, and Pedersen can just flash over the wall. But here comes Keys. Keys no call of the Forge God. They've got Legions coming up, but everybody is collapsing in. The Shockwave lands onto 2. Pedersen is trying to make a great escape, but he is going to be spotted.
He wants to execute.
And through the towers he goes. Never Lucky Spirit rushes forwards and gets himself a cheeky kill. They do get Chelm out, but the cost is going to be Rift Herald.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, with the TP disadvantage, there wasn't much you could do to secure Herald. That play was very ambitious, I'll say, and I don't really agree with it. But it could have been a lot worse. Chilm
Okay.
Chilm still got the big one there. But yeah, oh, they're actually going to collapse on him here.
Yeah, Chelm is flashless. He's going to bear stance. He's going to get CC'd, and you just don't move in these cases. You just don't get the opportunity. Chelm will go down. He did try and smite to survive, but
Very greedy there, honestly. Got to respect the solo laners, and now Herald being secured. BIFROST having a better early game this one. Doesn't connect with Black Shield there anyway. And the gold's now even, with 5 kills to 4 for BIFROST. Neverlucky's doing a great job on this Ahri, and they have Herald in hand. So I was concerned about the early game for BIFROST here. They are doing far better than in the previous games.
yeah, they really are. It's a 300 gold lead to Dusty. And honestly, it should be more, but it's just been mistakes after mistakes. And speaking of which, Hoy's getting jumped onto, has got the lantern, is able to jump away, does hold his R for the moment, but is going to throw it down to dodge away on that final axe.
Yeah, so I understand throwing the lantern a bit further away to make sure you can grab it, but that was quite a stretch for Hoy's to be able to grab that one. Threw it a bit too far away, made Hoy's really work for it. He still does get out, has to burn heal and ultimate. But ultimately, the big thing is BIFROST can't find the successful play, cannot translate that into a tower take with the Herald. But again, this game is just hectic, action-packed, non-stop. It feels like even when we're not necessarily getting kills, we're still getting the fighting back and forth.
And the Dragon spawning up in 3 seconds. The Rift Herald reset from Tanu means he was back onto the base nice and quick. And Dusty, they weren't in the position to be able to contest it. They were sorting out their lane swap and getting back onto the right side of the map. So they weren't actually able to sneak away this Dragon. And the pings are going down. Keys is also making his way over. So I think if you're Dusty, just give this Dragon up.
Yeah, no GPL, no TP. Yeah, I just skip it. You've already got one. Securing your second isn't a big deal. Denying the first one isn't a big deal. You could go for a potential steal from Chilm with the Lantern getaway. That's the play I like here. But you can see BIFROST making it difficult, so they're just going to end up walking away. And again, it's the right decision. I see a lot of teams opting in for these Dragon fights when it's just completely unnecessary. That Dragon is very little significance on the game. It's nice to have, but it's not going to change the state of things right now.
Yeah, I think the ghost from Keys was enough just to zone any potential thought of stealing it. As
He's going fast.
Rift Herald hasn't been used quite yet. I'm curious to see where they decide to throw it down, what lane they decide to prioritize. And,
Looks like it's
you
going
know,
to be bot. That's a
Dusty,
4-man setup for a dive here.
Yeah, that tower's dead. It's definitely a better start to the game for BIFROST. Dusty did have a good early as well, though, so it's not like this game is doomed. It's just they're in a bit of a rough spot right now. There is an answer out as this tower plate and the first tower was picked up in the bot lane. They are going to trade out a couple of plates in the mid lane. A second charge is going to go down onto this tower, but Hoist will be able to deal with it after the charge comes through. So that is going to be all she wrote on that one. There's a bunch of damage out of this tier 2 bot lane, and top lane also bleeding out fairly in the plates as Legions gets hit by the charm, uses that cleanse, gets jumped onto. The ignite is just too big and the shockwave too late. Chelm will make his way forward. The spirit rush is timed out, so it will be a trade of kills mid laner for mid. Chelm will be able to shove the wave out, so
Yeah, and in terms of actual value, that favors Dusty because that was a huge shutdown and they get assist called. But Neverlucky finding a solo kill like that on a Legions with both summoners up is not a good look. And Neverlucky's been monstrous on Zari. Now has the Everfrost and is fed. You have a lot of utility with Zari. You got a lot of mobility. You got a lot of CC. And when you're 4 kills already into the game, you've already completed your mythic, you will be putting out enough damage just to find these easy picks.
another lane swap is coming out. They've already moved Tide up. Flaxish was very close to taking a turret for his team in this top lane. It was super, super close, but with a lot swap from Tide, not able to do so. They shove a lane in on the bot side as well. So Hoy's picked up a couple of plates himself. And realistically, even though the recent momentum has been very Bifrost favored, there is still a 1,000 gold lead over to the side of Dusty.
And you know that was...
with the Essence Reaver is actually very strong right now.
That was a shutdown, literally, from Neverlucky that kind of put them ahead. They were even in gold before that, but now... Yeah, Tide and Bruland not really playing with fire here. They respect the fact that they don't have the vision setup, don't have the jungler there. This could be dangerous if they face check, but Flaxius will just reset, head towards the bot side of the map. Does still have that cannon barrage available. And you can see now it's Bifrost who are collapsing towards the top side. Poison Pedersen need to get out of there. I'm not even sure the tower would necessarily keep them safe. But fortunately, they are able to back off soon enough. Chilm is nearby. And without a wave, Bifrost aren't really going to push up.
Yeah, and they spot them out of the wards as well. But they are hanging about. There's 5 members here. They do have the cannon barrage. They do have the teleport. Poise has Featherstorm, Flash, and Heal. So they're feeling pretty comfortable to be able to defend this, while Flaxish just free farms in the bot lane. And while this is happening as well, Legion's also shoving a wave in mid lane. So
This
Dusty
is too risky.
finds quite a lot here.
It's too risky to go for that dive there against the cannon barrage and with no wave pushed up. So this is essentially just giving a free tower to Flaxish. And he is picking up a lot of farm here. 6,600 gold. He's the most fed in the game.
But look
Just
at his
from the
gold
back-
compared to Keys as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you're letting this Gangplank free farm to try and make these plays that just aren't successful. That Chilm could be in trouble here.
Yeah, they knew he was there. Dodges away on the charm, but he is already chunked. He is already flashed. The shockwave will land, but it's not only going to interrupt one. As Neverlucky dashes forward in one last Spirit Rush. A lot of damage coming out from Legions. He gets the cleanse off. Here's the cannon barrage. Here's the ace in the hole for the turnaround, though. Tanu survives. So does Chelm and Legions, but the Call of the Forge God is going to knock down one. Not going to find the double kill. That was close.
Oh, I mean, if that was bowling, then Keys nearly getting this strike. Doesn't quite knock over the second pin, though.
Oh.
It's going. It's going.
Is it a grasp? No.
Brett.
Meanwhile, action breaking out. Hook lands. They've got the feathers lined up. Keys flashes away from them. Here comes the barrel chain. No, it doesn't. Interrupted by Tide's auto attack.
Chaos. It just feels like there's constant fighting non-stop. I need time to breathe. Dragon spawning in 10 seconds. Neither team really in a great spot to contest it due to the fact that it's just a sheer lack of ultimates, but Dusty have already started to move over and get control. Neverlucky's ult coming up soon. One of the big strengths of Ahri is how short cooldown you can get that ult with all the CDR.
Might find Bruland here. He's going to get a lot of damage put into him. The Gale Force forwards, and that is the kill. The flash as well.
Don't you love when 80 carries are assassins?
Yeah.
Yeah, poor Brulan. One of the issues with Enchanters is you're not very good at phase checking now. Bifrost are setting up for a death rush here. Just get spotted out though.
Shockwave is up and available for Legion, so if you are funneled up, it's gonna hurt. And Dragon's gonna get started. I think with Brulan down with no spell shield, they don't feel comfortable walking into this, especially with Legion's having that Shockwave. Second Dragon for Dusty picked up. Boys just gets the lantern. That there, instead of just walking around, is like when the cat sits next to the cat flap meowing at you, asking you to open the door. That's exactly what that is.
Yep.
Just walk over.
Boys starting to get really fed though. Credit to him, and we get a replay. So waiting in the brush with a lack of vision. Brulan walks over and just the burst damage. Even gets the binding. Boys isn't concerned, has the ult for safety. And just a really nice pickup from the AD carry of Dusty, who is ramping up considerably. Keys.
Hit by the Shockwave, got the bear stance, gets a big knock up onto Legions, and Keys, I think you're going down here. Kill gifted to Legions.
Just out of position, overextended this lane, gets punished, and it does mean that Herald's going over to the side of Bifrost. But realistically, with plates down, it's not the biggest concern. Definitely don't want to give it for free. But you see on the other side of the map, well, Bifrost do take that tower top side. I expect to see this tier 2 bot lane go down as well, though.
Jumping in onto Hoyes, he jumps back, he has to use that Feather Storm, the cannon barrage would have been used, and the binding goes a little bit wide. Never Lucky jumps under the tower, the box is slowing him down. Hoyes gets the kill, as Flaxish teleports forwards, Brulan pops to the ulti, but he is just popped by the barrel. A tier 2 tower crumbles as well. Dusty take everything.
Yep, they get their tier 2 tower bot, and the engage mid is over ambitious. Hoyes playing it perfect. The Gale Force to flash the ult to keep himself safe. And then the turn around, the feathers cut through, Never Lucky. Flaxy turns up to clean up the kill, and now this gold lead is starting to build up. Jim looking for Tide here.
Yeah, I think he might just go down, trying to get a bit of extra damage in. Not going to quite find it.
A decent amount, but not that much damage all in all. But Bifrost, we said they had good control this early game, and they're starting to flounder. But here's the replay. So it's actually just bad lineup here because the ult comes out and you have to wait for the ult before you have some CC. Never Lucky, you shouldn't dash forward with that final one because you just ended up getting set up for the feathers. And then Brulan has just been bullied around this game. Flax is just destroying the Morgana there.
Flaxish goes on a reset. Decided not to take this tower. I mean, it'll fall. That tower's guaranteed to fall, so I think he wanted to finish up his shield bow. Doesn't want to take any risks, so respect that play, or at least that decision making. Even if, with our hindsight, it looks like it would have been a pretty free tower. Got himself an extra crit cloak as well. So building towards what I assume will be his Infinity Edge next. Unless he wants to go like a collector.
And the thing is, it's going to get a bit difficult because realistically, in terms of like sustained damage in a fight, it's only really Tide who's offering it. If Never Lucky doesn't get instant ult impact, if Tanu and Keys also don't find like a solid engage in the backline, Tide's the one who has to put out the damage. And right now, the Caitlyn really isn't that significant. It's so hard to play team fights as well. You got to worry about shockwaves, you got to worry about cannon barrage and just barrel chains. Ideally, Bifrost want to be the ones starting the fight, and they want to start it with a pick. That is best case scenario for them. And really, it's coming from Never Lucky when we're finding these. Poise isn't the best target, which is the amount of safety he has on the Zaya, especially with Gale Force as well. They're throwing down that Herald mid. Dusty are here to defend.
Yeah, they will get the charge out onto the tower, but they won't get the tower itself. The tower very, very low, however, off the back of that. So it's something they'll be able to take fairly soon. That top lane tower still standing.
No low health towers, but Dragon in a minute. And this is going to be the third for Dusty. This is when you want to start denying them. You don't want to give over a third for free. Means that Dusty are one away from Soul, and Soul is devastating in this game. The fact that you can apply with Cannon Barrage, adding extra damage to the Shockwave combo, you do not want to give Infernal Soul over to the other side for either team, in all honesty. So I expect
really
to
rough
fight them
one.
out.
Call of the Forge God. Hook goes out as well, but that is just the Call of the Forge God and nothing really burnt other than a lantern. So really happy if you're on the side of Dusty off the back of that, as Flaxish will find Tanu for a little bit of poke. And now with that Call of the Forge God down, Dusty can probably feel a little bit more comfortable to walk forward here. Do have to worry about the traps and the bindings. Okay, I'm just going to get mid lane priorities. They do find a hook onto the Morgana. Bruland not going down. That was a Gale Force used by Hoyes as well. As
Yeah.
Bruland is popped. He is super, super low.
You can see Pedersen thinking about that one, and just Bruland being chunked out, the lack of the Call of the Forge God is enough. Bifrost are going to walk away. They lose top tower anyway. No one collects the local, but they'll get that global gold, and now Dusty will just go over and take this dragon essentially for free. 4,000 gold lead now. And remember, Dusty win this, they are back in the NLC, and Bifrost are out. Everything is riding on this game. There's no second chances. You'll wait until summer to even have an opportunity to make it to the NLC. Bifrost can't afford to lose this.
It really is. This is the last day of relegations. This is the last chance. Those chances are evaporating before Bifrost's eyes right now. 3,600 gold down. Actually, it's a little bit more than that. My maths are a bit off, but, you know, I'm rounding up. See the individual golds, and unfortunately, the last two dragons that have fallen have kind of been Bruland either getting killed or forced out.
Yeah. Honestly, this goal difference is mostly just a Flaxish difference. He is, yeah. Considering it's only about that 3.5k goal lead, it's just very little outside of him. And that's the thing, is that you look at Bifrost. Bifrost have 2 carries. Oh, seeing an engage come in. Great Lantern.
Yeah,
Left
really
straight
good lantern. Pedersen honestly on it every time. Every time this Call of the Forge God comes to him and Hoyes split path. Lantern comes down.
Yeah.
And then
I mean,
you either take it if it goes towards you, or you just leave it if it goes towards Pedersen.
this is the power of the Thresh. Like, yes, the hook's a strong tool, but it's more about that Lantern.
Oh, that's nice. The shockwave, the Ragnarok use, they get the hook, and it's
burst.
just so much damage coming out. So he's actually got lanterned onto a trap.
Jungler
Like
down.
this-
This could just be a Baron.
I don't think Bifrost can actually contest this. They haven't got their jungler. They haven't got the Call of the Forge God. Flaxus is sitting in a bush
It's gone so quick.
with a barrel set up, and pop. A little bit of damage. Gets the blast going over to safety. They look for that knock-up. They got the cannon barrage off as well, and Baron in the pocket for the side of Dusty. Kind of reset, spend that gold, get back onto the Rift. Dragon up in 3 minutes 15.
This is looking rough for Bifrost. Hoyes 5-0 now. 2.5 items completed. And that's the thing. It's like the fact that Bifrost have 2 carries. And their carries aren't as fed as Dusty's. But Dusty's have this 3rd carry. They have Flash. Level 15, highest in the game. Closing on his 3rd item. I think on this reset should have it. Yeah, there's the Infinity Edge. And it's just so difficult because Never Lucky's value is around that ultimate, around finding that pick. Tide wants to get deeper in the game before he becomes really relevant, and they're just not being given the window. 2.5 minutes till that dragon, and Dusty are going to look to extend their lead with the Baron they have available. If they get that Infernal Soul, it's just going to feel so doomed for Bifrost.
And there was a moment as well where Bifrost honestly looked like they could take this game. They started to find picks. They started to find these punishing windows where they could punish Dusty. But Dusty just having such a good read on this game. They're not willing to go to game number 5. They want to close it out. They want to re-secure their spot. Here's one more Lantern. No one's getting hit by that. The Ragnarok used as well. 2 ultis for nothing. As a charm does land onto the support, Pedersen's 3-man shockwave comes out. Actually, Tide able to jump away as the 2-man flay comes down. There's the Featherstorm. Neverlucky has to jump over as they have got all the damage thrown down. The charm is going to connect onto Hoyes. He flashes away. He brings the lanterns in, but a great reposition by Neverlucky. But it doesn't matter because Dusty are still losing this fight. A parlay by Flaxish will secure that final kill. 3 for 1 in favor of Dusty. They've still got the Baron to work with. And some objectives. Some of this towers are going to be going down, and I expect this to be the base getting cracked open.
And there's an example of the problem. Oh, yeah, I don't think you're getting him. Oh, actually, Cheel's going deep.
He's going so hard. The cannon barrage zoning Tide away, forces the heal out as Flaxish comes in forwards, slides in and secures himself the kill. That's a double for the Gangplank. That is one huge, huge GP. 26 minutes on the clock, and the base and the inhibitor are going to be cracked open by Dusty. 50 seconds until that dragon spawns up as well. Dusty can walk away happy from this one.
And therein lies the problem. BIFROST do everything in the kitchen sink at Dusty to kill Hoys, and they did. And then they still had Legions up, and they still had Flaxius up, and it just did not matter. This is the problem. 2 carries against 3. If those carries are fed, it's so rough. And there's some really nice play coming out here from specifically Keys and Neverlucky. They get this knock up on a Hoys after he comes down. The charm connects, and they manage to kill him. But again, this is putting everything into Hoys, and they get him. Legions is up to clean up. Flaxius is there as well, land that parlay and finish out the kill. There's still 2 hyper-fed carries, and BIFROST lost 3. And then this play just shows the gold lead and how aggressive Dusty are feeling. Shield very deep here, nearly gets taken down, but Flaxius comes in to clean up and is just doing an insane amount of damage.
And in real time, the Dragon Dance has started up. BIFROST actually have the inside track on it. I think Dusty are looking to force their way through. The Dragon's already been started, and because it's an Infernal map, Caitlyn suffers quite heavily here. There's the Shockwave onto 3 members. Hoist takes out Tide like he's nothing. Flaxish unstoppable, and Chelm just sprinting for Tanu. Gonna be able to find the kill as the Everfrost is thrown out on 2-1, but Legion's not really under any threat here. He's already landed his big Shockwave. Bruland gonna get chased down by Chelm. And he's just being annoying, but that is all he is being right now. The rest of the team are looking to close this game out. They don't even need that soul. Flaxish doing an absolutely monumental amount of damage. The ace is coming in. The 28 minutes on the clock. 1 kill every minute in game number 4 here. It has been a bloody series and a heartful series as well. But at the end of the day, Dusty will take this 3-1, and they will be re-qualifying back into the NLC. We'll be seeing you in summer.
Honestly, there were moments in that game as well where BIFROST, it felt like they'd overcome the early game issues. It felt like they were getting back into the game, and they just let it slip. Dusty have ramped up over this relegation tournament. Feels like they'd be going from strength to strength, and this is what we expected from them initially. It's a heartbreaker for BIFROST, especially after winning Telia. We thought they would be the front runners to come in and get in the NLC, but Dusty come through strong.
Yeah, honestly, really, really good series there by Dusty. Honestly, I had my concerns. I genuinely had my concerns after the first day. And as things kind of went on, I genuinely thought we were going to have BIFROST and Galaxy until I saw Dusty yesterday. And that series versus M&M kind of really sold me on Dusty. They had an amazing kind of game 2 to 4. They got absolutely stomped by M&M, and we thought it was just going to be a 3-0 for M&M, but, you know, completely wrong on that one. But to round things out and to end our final NLC desk and show, actually, of the spring, we are going to pass it over to our analyst desk, one of which is wearing a hat. See you in a moment.
Who's wearing the hat? Oh, it's Gulborg. Yeah, it's Gulborg wearing the hat. Obviously, congratulations to Dusty. They will find their way back into the NLC, which means that we have 1 new team and 1 returning team for the summer split. Massive congratulations to Dusty and also to Galaxy Racer for making it through this relegation tournament. It was brutal. Lots of series in a row, especially for Dusty, who had to go the long way round. 3 series in a row over 3 days. They had to run the gauntlet to get back into this NLC summer split. But I think overall they were the deserved winners, as were Galaxy Racer. Those 2 teams, of course, as the results show, played the best throughout this tournament. I think just from the outset there, Dusty just seemed to have BIFROST's number, especially from the draft phase.
I mean, definitely. And I mean, from the draft phase, I felt like BIFROST actually came in with something that could work. But it honestly came down to how it was play out. Which ended up being the problem instead. So I definitely say that there is room left for improvement for BIFROST, and sadly they're not going to get the time for it.
Well, do you know what? Before we even dive into it much further and discuss like the end of the NLC and what's coming, let's take a look back at that game specifically. And I think, Trouble, we should have a breakdown that you have selected for this 4th game.
Yes, we do. And at this point, it is very close to the end. I'm going to say that much. And they are going here for Soul. Again, BIFROST have taken, have split the river, if you will. Dusty are coming this way. BIFROST want to run this way. I feel you, Rupert. I would baby raids too if the NLC was coming to an end. It's fine.
I think
Yep, okay. If you want to break it down, Rupert, we can do that if you want. So at this point, they're trying to both contest the dragon. You see a few spells going back and forth, and this is where the magic happens, right? Because this guy right here on your screens, this guy right here on your screens, the ADC and mid laner of Dusty are extremely strong at this point. And Bifrost, all they want to do is kite back, but the ADC gets caught, and a beautiful 3-man shockwave takes place, completely decimating the backline, the ADC of Bifrost, and then they have nothing left. One jungler here scattered, one mid laner here scattered, one support here scattered, and it's just not enough. At this point, Dusty are not even looking to secure the soul, because you know what? Look at the base. There's a huge two super minion waves running in, and Hoys, together with Pedersen, are making a run to end the game. So you'll see that the remaining members of Dusty are stopping the support and the mid laner from going back. They're going to kill them off in a bit as well. And this is where Dusty are going to end the game. And I just wanted to say that Legions has played extremely aggressive in the first half of this series. But this guy has proven from the start of the NLC, from the groups to now, that he can attack, but he can also protect. Because his Orianna here was stellar. He was being permanently dived by two people in the mid lane. He managed to stay even in CS and get ahead by the end of the game. That was a really good performance coming in from the ADC and mid lane of Dusty.
Dragging up the old dead memes troubles to illustrate the point. I'm completely on board with it. But it was a really, really good performance from Legions and from Dusty overall. And I think actually, as well, I kind of want to give credit to Flaxius. I think maybe we have put a lot of pressure on him over the course of the split. And I think Flaxius had a really, really good series too. I think he has stepped up when he needed to, and especially when we were talking about top diff and how that top lane matchup was going to be important. I think Flaxius really played the role that he needed to in this series. I am ready though, and I've been excited about this, knowing who I was going to interview for our winners interview for the qualifying back to the NLC of Dusty. I've been excited about this, so I don't think this man needs any introduction. I really don't. Legions, my man, you're back in the NLC, and I think you've got the tank top on for a reason.
Wait,
show us.
has it started yet?
Yeah, it started.
Oh.
Banana. Let's go.
Okay, Mama Mi Senorita, hello! It's the winner, man! Hello! Look at the losers! Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm back.
I didn't know where we were going to go with this interview, Legions, but that was not where I was expecting it to go. That's not. But do you know what? Legions? Congratulations. You deserve it. You're back in the NLC. How do you guys feel about approaching this series? Like, what was your game plan coming into Bifrost? What was your attack strategy?
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I said, okay. What? Legions, you've been amazing. Honestly, you've been amazing.
I griefed one game, but yeah.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
We all grief a game now and then. What do you feel like your strategy was for the team coming into this series versus Bifrost?
Well, as I said, they play really solid as a team, and I felt like their mid jungle was like the best players, especially the mid laner. Like, he was really strong, and I knew that if he doesn't 1v9, we would win this series.
And so basically stop the 1v9 from happening, shut down any champions that he could potentially do that on, an easy win.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't give him Echo. If he gets Echo, then we should have just FF, honest.
Well, to be fair, every team in the history of Forever seems to have banned Echo against him.
Exactly.
So that makes a lot of sense. I think for you guys and Dusty, like, what has the journey been like from NLC to finding yourself in relegation to finally managing to qualify back? What has it been like as a team making that journey?
I mean, it's been like up and down, I guess. Like, we didn't expect to get like second place. Second place in our split. So like, we were really devastated when that happened. Like, it was really close. And obviously I lost. I couldn't play like the first 2 games, but like winning and getting to play a bit more with the team feels really nice. So I'm happy that we can stay in the league and make the owner proud for not relegating.
Yeah, I mean, it's always positive, Legions. Do you know what, mate? Look, I think you need to go enjoy your win. You've been absolutely a star in these interviews. You've made them memorable. Each and every one that we've had has been incredibly memorable. So, Legions,
thank you, Excadrill! You're the man, bro.
You're the man, bro.
You're a
You're
beast.
the man. Yeah, you too. Well, I think you're more of a beast than me, but
Yeah, but I'm beast on the outside, but you're beast on the inside, you know?
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, man. Oh, you know what? That's wholesome. Let's leave it on the wholesome note, Legions, and go and enjoy your night. Enjoy getting
Thank
back
you,
into
bro.
the NLC.
You
and
too.
we'll see you soon.
You too, you deserve it. Thank you, guys. See ya.
You deserve it, man. You deserve it.
Stop.
Oh, my producer's always like, I've given him a chance to come on the interview again, and I'm like, cool. And every time I know something special's coming. I know something special's coming, and it does every time.
Did you expect that one, though, Excandro?
I didn't expect that one, that's for sure. I thought he was just going to flex. I thought he was going to do the old foxy droppy, you know, like hands in the air, like. But no, it was the twerk on the chair. Anyway, let's take a look back at some of the highlights from this series, guys. Let's take a brief look back before we end the show and round out our spring split to kind of review how this series went.
I mean, we started out on a good note from the side of, I don't even know if this is the first game. Yes, it is, from a good note from the side of Dusty. And it seemed like it was just BIFROST finding their footing, what worked for them, what didn't. And, you know, after the first game, it did go well into the second game. But I just think inevitably, it just looked like BIFROST were never able to play as that cohesive unit. I think Flagshi's turning up today just makes matters even worse for them, because top side of the map had been struggling. But as Legion said himself, I've been very impressed by Neverlucky. I think Neverlucky has solidified himself as a very good mid laner towards this relegation tournament. And that also means something for these BIFROST guys. Like, they came out and showed what they can do. Even Tide, who's from the past Nordics, haven't done too hot, showed how good of an AD carry he can be.
I'm just actually gonna agree with Goldbook on the BIFROST side, because I want to turn it back to Dusty, and I want to say that the performance and the macro and the team play that they showed in this relegation tournament has been something that they hadn't showed the entire regular split in the NLC. And I really hope when they come in next split, they're gonna show this determination and this teamwork, because it actually looked pretty good. Their drafts look solid, their gameplay looked solid. The fact that Hoyes was able to 1v9 and be facilitated for it was very, very solid. And Legions was playing the Orianas. He was playing, you know, the Renekton, but he can play the Oriana. He protect, he attack, he can do it all. And at the end of the day, if we can see that Hoyes can step up, Pedersen can step up, Chilm stepped up, yeah, Flaxis, that has been, that has had a figure pointed at him every single time something was going on with Dusty. He stepped up as well on every single champion he played, and that looks extremely promising.
This is obviously going to bring to the end our spring split. We've had a really amazing split. XL beating Fnatic for the first time in the finals. We're sending both XL and Fnatic to the European Masters, with the Fnatics having to compete through the play-ins, which will be starting relatively soon. And obviously we've had this relegation tournament to round it out, where both Dusty managed to make it back in, and Galaxy Racer took the spot away from M&M. Of course, BIFROST winning the Telia Masters couldn't make it through, as we've just seen today. And we've unfortunately had to say goodbye to M&M, who have been such a long-standing part of both the UK and then eventually the NLC splits too. We're going to miss them, obviously, but that's what competition's about. You know, you have to kind of play when it matters and perform when it matters, and that's just kind of how it is. And the two teams that made it back to the NLC absolutely did, and Dusty really stepped up when they needed to. And just to kind of put it into writing, put it into vision, and we have an updated bracket we can show you and kind of confirm, if it hasn't already been confirmed in your minds, that the qualified teams for the NLC are Galaxy and Dusty. So massive congratulations to them off the end of a very grueling series of games. And obviously Dusty having to go the long way through with both loser bracket matches being best of fives, because they were relegation matches either time. With everything on the line, Dusty performed for 2 best of fives in a row, which is, you know, no small feat. So congratulations to them. You're in trouble. This is it. This is the end of the show. This is the end of the spring split. Do you guys want to leave the audience with anything before I round out?
Watch Telia. We obviously have a lot of talent coming up from the Telia, as you can already see. But don't give me that look. All right, I love this system. Grassroots, people that's coming up from the lower leagues, highlighting new talent, getting in the NLC, road to your masters, stuff like that. We've been missing, right? And I've been in the Nordics for a long time. I've competed here as well. I'm really happy we get to do this. I'm really happy to all the players who's participating, and to all the organizations who's not an academy organization, who's actually still making a run for their money. When we see teams like Granite Gaming coming up, like all the other underdogs we had, like Nordavind, who came up and almost like weren't level as Fnatic. So I think, like, obviously shout out to all the players competing. I think it's absolutely amazing we get to see you play every week, and I'm gonna miss it meanwhile you're not here.
And you know what? I'm just going to take it from there and say it's all about the academy teams because EU Masters is coming up. And you know what? We're damn winning this split, boys, because both Fnatic Rising and BTXL look strong AF, and we are definitely going to be one of the most competitive regions this time in EU Masters. So, eyes peeled, EU Masters, we're taking it home.
You know what, guys? It's been an absolute pleasure. May not be the biggest, but we're damn sure the best. NLC will be back in summer with all the action you expect. And again, we'll be cheering on all of our teams at the European Masters. But for now,
Fatality.
Beyond the lover's bloodshot eyes, another ocean opens wide. Our love is sick but still alive. Then all our hearts would radiate and melt the sadness we create. Only then could we survive. Let's turn around before we drown. Singing this love is all around us. This love is all around us. Staring idly at the sky, love is almost passed us by. Still we watch it fade.